So, good evening, everyone. We are going to start the second afternoon session, and as usual, we will undertake a long trip, a long ideal trip throughout the world, thanks to the participation of our friends and the partners. In fact, we will start from Italy, and then we will move to Australia, and then back to Romania, and then to our beloved friends in Ukraine, and then in Croatia, in Azerbaijan, and we will conclude, due to the different time zone, in America, North America and South America. So, be prepared for such a long trip, ideal trip in discovering culture from all over the world through the eyes of local partners and local communities. That is the topic of our festival. So let me thank anyone who is going to connect in streaming with in connection via Zoom, via YouTube, and I invite Madam Monica Bietti from the Friends of Palazzo Davanzati and Casa Martelli Museum in Italy to deliver her presentation, An Ideal Itinerary to Discover the House Museums in Florence. Before passing the word to Madam Monica, let me express on behalf of our foundation all our appreciation for getting involved in our project Luoghi Parlanti, Talking Places. After the great experience with the tabernacles, and today there will be also a presentation dedicated to that, thanks to Madam Monica Bietti, we will undertake another implementation dedicated to the house museums in Florence. House museums in Florence, that is another not well-known heritage, cultural expression of our city. It's not iconic, but they embody the true spirit of Florence. And we are really glad that thanks to Madam Bietti, we will undertake another implementation of our project. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much for all together, and good afternoon. I am very happy to be here because it's new for me to speak about this project that began with Carlotta Del Bianco when we were together to see and work at tabernacles. That is the first stage, the first step of this project of Talking Places. And I prefer to point the view on another particular situation that is common in Florence, but in all Italy and in Europe, and maybe in other parts of the world, that is house museum. Why house museum? You know, the house is the house, and museum non ever talk in the same kind like a house. You know that when we went to a house, we see, for example, a kitchen. A kitchen is a kitchen. It's an old kitchen, it's a new kitchen, but it's a kitchen. Or a bathroom is a bathroom. And so it's very easy to understand the meaning of the house and the meaning of the language of the house. The storytelling is not so difficult. These are kind of museum really new, really easy to the public, to all the type of the public that arrive from all the world. It's not difficult to understand what I mean, because it's natural to have this different significance. Our project of a Talking Place House Museum begin this year when I am a coordinator of ICOM in Italy of House Museum. And I am a member of DEMHIST, that is all the world House Museum. And so I project with Carlotta Del Bianco this kind of itinerary from Florence, because we live in Florence, and because we want to give to Florentine people and to our guests that arrive from all the part of the world a new itinerary and the possibility to understand the past and the new, the propose of the culture of our history. And in particular, I work for 20 years in the Museum of Casa Martelli, that you can see on the back, that is very, very close to here. And so if you have time, please go to see. And is an experience very interesting, because it's not only to have the collection, the rooms, and all the documents of the family, but also understand what kind of program we can give to our guests. And we begin to have, for example, some dinner time. And we remember with Giovanna a very important dinner time in some years ago. And was an experience very interesting, because we are in a house. The house is built for that. So it's very important that maintain this character. And so I am now expose some slides about this house museum that have storytelling potential than classic museum do not. You understand? Every day the space, the visitors can view a different works here, but understand also the life of the house. This is impossible in the normal museum. When you, this morning, somebody say, arrive in Russian in front of, for example, Leonardo da Vinci, they take a photo, a selfie, and that's all. Here, no. You have not for this kind of chef of oeuvre, but we have the life, and the life of the citizen that were the more important family in Florence, like Medici, because they were merchant, they have the bank with Medici family, and they work with Medici from the 15th centuries until the end of the dynasty of Medici, so until 1743, when Elettrice Palatina died. And this is why this family is so important, and this is why it's so important to know where they live and what they did. You can see now the arm of the family that is in this moment in the Bargello Museum, but at the end of the stairs we have a copy because naturally it's necessary to have. And this is the rooms that are all together. They began the first room, the second room, the third room. You know, in the past, the room are without, they have not the corridors. They are into each one. The first, the second, the third, the fourth. If you go in Palazzo Pitti, for example, it's the same. There are not corridors. It's a life. This is the image of the family in their dining room, or maybe a very important room of the house, because they have so the pictures that are now in the museum. And then you can solve the other question. So when what I want to say to you is that we are very happy to begin with Museum of Casa Horn, that Fondazione Horn, that was the house of Herbert Horn, and Museo of Palazzo Davanzati, and also Palazzo Coppini, and Museo di Casa Martelli, to begin this project of talking places, because we are really improved that those kind of information are really interesting, not only for Florentine people, but for all the people. The information about the site will now be available through the Talking Place QR codes, which we believe will engage an ever-growing range of visitors, drawing to an ancient Florence that knows how to recount its relationship with today, and indeed forms the foundation of the present. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Bietti. Thank you for showing us the role of homes and not just museums, of giving us an entrance into people's daily lives and their practices. Okay, before we go to the next speaker, I would just like to remind you that we have a QR code of a heritage map that we're creating of everyone in the audience's stories. So you can pin on the map where a story that you would like to share takes place, whether it's a story of your home or a story of a place you've been to. Now I would like to introduce the next speaker, Cosimo Civita del Bianco, who will be taking us on a journey to Australia, to Brisbane. So introduce yourself and let us know when you would like the pecha-kucha to start.
Good evening. My name is Cosimo Civita del Bianco, and I am a marketing student at the Business Management School SSATI here in Florence. If you want to present the pecha-kucha. Thank you. So, I would like to thank you, my school, SSATI, for giving me the opportunity to go to the Italian Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Queensland and Northern Territory, situated in Brisbane, Australia, where for 3 months I've been an intern and an active student working there and helping with the life of intern in the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to start my speech with a citation, a sentence engraved in this monument that you can see here, given to the Italian community of Brisbane. Life in Italy was hard, but life in Australia was not a picnic either. So thanks to the internship in the Italian Chamber of Commerce, I had the great pleasure to help and organize events. And then to participate in those events, where I could see with my own eyes what it's like to be an Italian entrepreneur in Australia. At those events, I had the great pleasure to meet the Consul of Italy and to enter and go to the events organized by the Consulate of Italy in Queensland and Northern Territory, where I also had the great pleasure to meet the Comites, it's Comitato degli Italiani all'Estero, where I was given the chance to see the Italian community not just from the entrepreneurial business side, but also by the everyday life. The Italian Chamber of Commerce organized events for the community of the Italian entrepreneur that started a business in Australia, where the comites organized events and gave me the possibility to participate at those events for the Italian community of everyone's everyday life. In this case, I had the great pleasure to participate at the 40th anniversary of Rintocchi magazine, a beautiful and very beautiful magazine that was born 40 years ago in 1984 for the Italian community by the Italian community. So thanks to the participation to those events, I had the chance to see how Italian community from the first periods of the Italian immigration to Australia influenced the Australian scenarios and the architectural heritage. We are going to go through the itinerary, by looking at 4 places: New Farm, Newmarket, Carina, and last but not least, South Bank. In New Farm, as the name gives us a little hint, was in the second part of 20th century a place where there were farms. So it was not a residential area. And the first Italian immigrants would arrive to New Farm and settle there. After a little bit, they would start their own family business. And in this case, I wouldn't want to not give the right value with it, but most of the business were based on bricklaying. But it's not just bricklaying, because for me, it's an art form. So in Queensland, we have the Queenslander, which is a beautiful wooden house, we can say villa, with a big patios. But the Italian influence in architectural, it's the house, little house, or maybe sometimes also residential apartments with brick layers, so more robust, and most of the time defined by little columns and also patios. This was the influence that was brought by the Italian immigrants in Australia. And we can see nowadays an inflation in the cost of living everywhere where the Italian community would have built built buildings. In this case, we can see Elina Court because it was used to call the buildings with the names of the families. Now we are in Carina, and Carina is another, I call it suburb, but it's not a suburb. It's like always part of Brisbane, where there is the Associazione degli Alpini and the Abruzzo Club, 2 gathering points for the Italian community since 1995, and still today active in the events and participate to the community gatherings. In Carina, we have those 2 places that in fact are very near by each other, because we also have a monument to the fallen of the wars dedicated to the Alpini, where the Italian community would gather and then have the chance to remember the fallen. In this case, now we are in Newmarket, where as well as New Farm, in the beginning it was not very not populated but frequented by the people, where the Italian community for passion built the Brisbane City Football Club. And even though I'm not a big fan of football, I have to say that for me it was like being at home, because the colors were the colors of our flag, and there was also the light blue, which is the national team football color in the World Cup. And in this case, everything was born by a passion that could gather the Italian community and play soccer together. But it's not just the Italian community. It's a place where the Italian community and the Australian community gather together and go beyond the go beyond being from two different cultures and just stay there and play together for soccer, or maybe bring the children to play soccer, and meanwhile the parents could have a beer in this beautiful building. After building the Brisbane City Football Club, around it it has been recorded during the years a growth in the not participation, but the people living there, because it is it's a place near the Brisbane City Football Club, and so it's like a community gathering center. Then we have South Bank, and South Bank, I said it for the last, but it's not the last, it's not the least, right? Because South Bank, it's a place of gather for all the communities. And for example, with the Consulate of Italy, I had the great pleasure to go to the QPAC, which is the Queensland Art Performing Center, and where we, in one of the pictures before, participated to this orchestra, violinist playing us Vivaldi. And there we had the Australian community and the Italian community gathering together. In South Bank, there's also the Art Performing Center, which is an exhibition where the various communities of Brisbane can bring their culture and make it open to the Brisbane and then to the world. So I would like to thank you, because for me it's been a wonderful experience. It's been a way of growth for myself, and I managed to see how life of Italians could be in Australia, which I didn't think was this beautiful and community-centered. So thank you, everyone, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Cosimo, for reminding us of the importance of cultural exchange, not only between countries, but across continents as well. Next, I would like to give a warm welcome to Andra Patras, who is joining us in person from the National Academy of Music in Romania. She will be discussing expressions of intangible heritage from Alba country. I remind you just to let us know when you would like the presentation to start. Yes.
Thank you very much. I want also to thank you to the organizer for inviting me to this special event, and especially to Mr. Simone Giometti for the great work of communication we done. I'm glad to be here to represent the National Academy of Music in Cluj-Napoca, Romania. I am currently a lecturer at the Academy, and I am teaching courses of musical folklore and traditional singing. I will start my presentation, Expressions of Immaterial Heritage of Alba County, Romania, speaking from two perspectives. A subjective approach related to the research that I did I had the privilege to do together with my mentor, Professor Ioan Bocșa, in the region of Apuseni Mountains, and an objective perspective following some important points about the heritage. We can change the...
Okay.
Thank you. I am also a member of Romanian traditional vocal singing ensemble called Icoane, Icons in English, and together with my colleagues we are restored the traditional music that was sung in Romanian villages more than 100 or 200 years ago. So the first point is Alba Iulia city. I chose to present this city because it is built on a significant history. Near the Alba city is the Red Raven, a very unique landscape. We can see a video. It's a natural monument of national interest in Alba County called Râpa Roșie, and it's a geographical reservoir and a natural monument with unusual red feature. The next slide, please.
Excuse me, it's automatic, it's pecha-kucha, and they have 20 seconds every slide.
Okay.
This is the new. This slide is okay for you. This one.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the aim of the present approach has a subjective foundation based on the curiosity about the immaterial heritage of the communities from Apuseni Mountains, especially the traditional music that I heard for the first time during the field research conducted by my professor. There were 566 songs that were saved from the field, and the contributions consisted my contribution consisted to transcribe the literary text. One of the cultural products was the book that I mentioned before. It was mentioned before. And as you can see in this slide, there were a lot of musical genres restored and saved from the field. So I will present just some of the musical genres because the time is very short. Here we have some characteristics of the Going to the Army song, and let's listen one of these, sing together with my colleagues from Icoane Ensemble. Do we have the sound also?
După bloc și după coasă, după bloc și după coasă, după mea mândră frumoasă, după mea mândră frumoasă, cântă cu copii fântână, cântă cu copii fântână, că mai am o săptămână, că mai am o săptămână. Cântă cu copii găleată, cântă cu copii găleată, săptămâna mi să gata, săptămâna mi să gata.
This musical production emerged in Transylvania at the end of 18th century, coinciding with the establishment of mandatory military service. They were practiced during the ceremonial farewell of young men going to the army, which signified their temporary removal from the normal order of life. Another genre is about the traditional wedding. So the ceremony of traditional wedding is structured as an elaborate festive spectacle that includes 3 distinct productions: musical, literary, and choreographic. We listen now a song. So we heard a restoration of the song coming from Alba County, as I said at the beginning, singing together with the mixed group and also with traditional instrumental accompaniment. The harvesting songs, considering that the research area represents a mountain area, the harvest songs are not proper for this area. In the field, it was explained to us that people used to go to harvest in the lands. Sometimes they stayed the whole season, and at the end, they were paid for the products. We listen a song.
Caro
A distinct sound phenomenon attracts our attention that we have not encountered before in other musical genres. Researching the bibliography sources, we found that this sound phenomenon, is called huhurezat, and it's about the additional element at the end of the musical stanza made on undetermined sound that you could hear. So one of the most representative genre in the volume, and also collected from Apuseni Mountains, was carols, almost 300 songs. I just want to conclude on 2013, Romanian Christmas caroling in male groups was added to UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage list. So by including this costume in the UNESCO patrimony, I want also to underline the importance of recognizing the traditional music and also the necessity of safeguarding it and passing it on the future generation in order to keep these traditions alive. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Andra. Thank you for the work that you are doing to preserve the otherwise intangible heritage that is music and the sounds that truly encapsulate the genius loci, or the spirit of the place. Now we go from Romania back to Italy, but online. So our next speaker is Camilla Siliprandi from WeAnimal Italy. Camilla, are you with us online?
Yeah?
Yes? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Let us know when you would like the presentation to start.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay, you see my slides?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Hello, everybody. I'm Camilla Siliprandi. I'm sorry for not my presentation in person in Florence. I'm Camilla Siliprandi. I'm WeAnimal president, but I am also veterinary. I am a veterinary and president of WeAnimal. WeAnimal is a network in Italy. We work, our center, connect with us, works in the animal assisted intervention. Maybe someone know this term with pet therapy. Is the intervention, the educational intervention or the therapeutic intervention make with animal. This is because I'm a vet for this reason, okay? I'm the president of this association for this region. We are the most important national network in Italy, and we work to promote our works in all around the world also. Thanks to Carlotta Del Bianco and Fondazione for inviting us. WeAnimal and Luoghi Parlanti are together to promote the IA center, so in Italian are interventi assistiti con gli animali, in English animal assisted intervention. Last year we made the Talking IA Center, and so this year we want to promote other center of our network. We introduced 3 new centers in Italy that works in animal intervention, but also with the tourism and in some particular location of Italy. The first is Wiki Hostel in Zagarolo, Rome, Castelli Romani, is a part of our network. they are hosted. They made animal intervention, but also make hostel. Gorgona Island is the second center in the Toscana Island, and in particular the Association Fattoria dei Barbari that work in that island. And the Tribù degli Zoccoli is a center in Ticino River in Lombardia, the north of Italy, near Milan. Now I show you some pictures, some photos from this center. This is the Gorgona Island. In the Gorgona there is a project made that association, our association. On the Gorgona there is a prison, and the prisoners works with animals in a natural context, and we can, all the person can go to this island in a very few person with trekking, and meet the prisoners that work with the animal and made a trekking on the island. These are some beautiful photos. The prisoners works with animal, with cow, with donkey. This is the location near Elba Island in the Toscana Sea. There's a photo from Zagarolo, from the Castelli Romani. They work with donkey, with the person that visits them, and not also with the tourism, but also with a special person, and made also educational and therapeutic project. These are some slides from Magenta, from Lombardia. The third center that I want to show you is near the river, the Ticino River. Is a natural park. In the park there is this, in this center, this is this animal assistant intervention center that works with the children. Is a particular center because they are in the natural setting, in a natural park, and so they live always sempre outdoor. The project they made the year outdoor. There are no house in the center. This is particularly special. This is the nature. The nature is very beautiful, and this is in a particular part of Italy, in the north of Italy, near Milan. So you can see this natural in a part of Italy that we can always think industrial setting. This is the work with the children and the donkey. I finish my presentation, and I want to thank everybody.
Thank you, Camilla. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for showing us also a unique way of approaching community, not just as a human-based activity. Next, we have another online guest, Malika Beninias from the Ukraine Reborn Association in Switzerland and the Odessa State Academy of Civil Engineering and Architecture in Ukraine. Malika, are you with us online? Malika Beninias, can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Yes? Okay.
Repeat the answer, the question.
Let us know when you guys are ready to start your presentation.
Включили микрофон.
Okay. Please go.
I'm sorry, can we, do we have an access to show the presentation?
Who presents? You or we? Oh, here is your presentation. Okay. Yes, Odessa, strong and beautiful. It's okay.
Odessa National University of Economics is a place where diversity becomes our strength.
Here we are an integral part of a unique community where we learn together, grow together, and build the future together.
Explore Odessa's captivating blend of history, culture, and seaside beauty. Start your journey from the Passage, one of the greatest cultural heritages of our city.
The Passage is a historical building that includes shops, a shopping arcade, apartments, and a hotel. The building is often known for the events that take place in the shopping arcade. One of such types of events is the Passageway Fair.
Every Sunday during spring, summer, and early autumn, there is a huge fair in the Passage in the city center. Every store that is placed in the area markets, they install all their goods. So there's lively music and fairy lights all over the place, and a lot of people come to enjoy it.
Our university is known for its fun students' life. In addition to the academic process, students have access to events such as film nights, master classes, Students' Autumn or Spring, and charity fairs.
Students' Autumn Spring is an event in which every faculty competes in such nominations as singing, dancing, and comedy.
Every year during the first semester, the students cook different snacks, bake cakes, and sell them to raise funds for the charity. Almost every student and professor come around to get something tasty to eat, and everyone seemed to have a great time. So this year, money was sent to armed forces of Ukraine.
Now let's move to the next picture's place. Greek Park is located on the Black Sea coast. It's a beautiful, small and peaceful park for citizens. It's mostly used for recreational activities such as walking, exercising, cycling and playing.
The concept of the Greek park successfully combines modern trends in park design and improvement, taking into account the requirements of all standards, namely the park is equipped for easy access for people with disabilities and is equipped with modern children's and entertainment areas. At the same time, the creators managed to embody the essence of Greek symbolism.
Odessa can surprise not only with ancient architectural masterpieces, tourists can also admire the picturesque landscapes of the city, which are created thanks to natural beauty. For example, you can meet the dawn on the Landron Beach.
People adore Gaza to look at the sunrise of the famous Landron Beach. The air is slightly cold after the night, a nice sea breeze, the piano gently playing, and a beautiful sunrise. That's the best way to face a new day.
Our country is going through a very difficult time now, but despite this, the educational process still continues. During alerts, all citizens have to go to special shelters. Our university also has a specially equipped shelter.
Unfortunately, often during our classes, the air raid alarm goes off and we have to hide in the basement. This protects us in such difficult times.
The next one is the colonnade that occupies a special place in Vorontsov Place complex in Odessa. It consists of 10 columns placed in 2 rows on a high stepped base, and the colonnade of the Vorontsov Palace stands in the remarkable place not far away from Primorski Boulevard.
This structure is often called the Portal of the Lonely Girl, and is considered a symbol of eternal love and sworn fidelity. Nowadays, couples in love and tourists come to this place to enjoy the beauty of the Black Sea.
In Odessa, everyone loves cats, and watching one on the secret is not uncommon. Every stray cat finds a local store, cafe or boutique and becomes a regular visitor because people treat it as if it were their own.
Since we love cats so much,
safety is the most important thing, so the more shelter, the better.
You people know which dishes should be considered original Odessa dishes and what local gastronomic traditions are in general. Some consider Odessa cuisine to be Jewish, others a variety of Ukrainian. Both opinions are correct, given the multinationality of the port city.
Odessa coastal location determines the large number of fish and seafood dishes in Odessa cuisine. The most popular dish can rightfully be considered forsmak. That is one of the most favorite dishes for everyone who loves fish, since the main ingredient is herring. It is prepared for holidays, for sandwiches, when you're lazy or it's too hot outside for the hot food. The distinctive feature of the dish is the simplicity and availability of ingredients.
There are many recipes created by locals that include mussels. They are served as a separate dish with the addition of sauces or seasonings, or as part of dishes. Examples of dishes include Black Sea mussels in wine and cream sauce, as well as pilaf with the addition of mussels.
Eggplant caviar is a snack that has existed for a very long time. It was prepared not only by our mothers, but also by our grandmothers. That is why there are many recipes for the dish. The main difference of the Odessa recipe is the specific use of certain ingredients. In particular, the dish uses fresh tomatoes.
At the end of our presentation, we would like to remind that Odessa is not just a city on maps. It is the soul and heart of Ukraine. Its rich history, culture, heritage, unique architecture, and hospitality of residents make it a real treasure of our country.
Now Odessa is going through difficult war times and cannot fully please the natives and vacationers of the city with its beauty. The part of the cultural heritage was damaged as a result of missile attacks by the aggressor country.
Nevertheless, we continue to live, work, study, and see our families and friends. The strength of our people lies in their invincible spirit and ability to live despite all difficulties.
Whether we come here for recreation, study, or business meetings, Odessa always opens its arms and invites you to feel the unparalleled atmosphere of its street and the unforgettable spirit of freedom that resounds in its air. Thank you very much. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear friend from Odessa. Shortly, but let me share a thought of appreciation considering the particular situation that you and your country are living. We really appreciate that in spite of what is happening, you still continue to give your contribution in showing the beauties of our cities, of your culture and your expression. And at last but not least, a special greetings to your Professor Olga Dektyarieva. Ciao, Olga. Now we go with the next one.
So now I would like to introduce to the stage the Honorary Consul Alessandra Fusi, the Honorary Consulate of the Republic of Croatia, who will be discussing a trip to Croatia between history and natural beauty. Let us know when you'd like
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alessandra to Croatia, and I'm delighted to share with you the fascinating histories of three remarkable places in Croatia: Brioni, Šibenik, and Korčula. Each of these locations has its own unique cultural, historical, and architectural significance. So let's take a journey together through time and explore how they have shaped Croatia's rich heritage. Let's begin with Brioni Island. We can move on the slide, please. Brioni is located just off the western coast of Istria, so it's only 1 hour from Trieste. And these islands, it's 14 islands, are known for their breathtaking beauty, but have a history that stretches back thousands of years. Archaeological evidence suggests that Brioni was inhabited as early as the Neolithic period. In Roman times, the islands were a luxurious retreat for the elite, particularly known for the villa and the remains of a Roman bath complex. Still now, you can see the ruins in one of this island. The modern history of Brioni is linked with the 20th century, particularly the period of Yugoslavia. In fact, from 1947 to 1979, Brioni served as a private presidential residence for Josip Broz Tito, the leader of Yugoslavia. During this time, the islands became a symbol of diplomacy as Tito hosted numerous world leaders, including Queen Elizabeth II, John F. Kennedy, and many others. The remnants of this era, such as the presidential villas and an impressive collection of Tito's personal memorabilia, can still be visited today. We see the ruins of the Roman villa in Brioni. Additionally, Brioni is home of a remarkable wildlife park, featuring exotic animals that Tito brought to the islands from his travels, especially from Africa. Today, Brioni is a national park, drawing visitors for scenic beauty, historical site, and a fascinating legacy of its political past. The second place I would like to talk about is Šibenik. Šibenik is a historic town located in the central of Dalmatia, between Zadar and Split, so in the center part of Dalmatia. And Šibenik has a long and complex history dating back to the 11th century, when it was first mentioned in historical records, and it's known as the first Croatian town. The town's location at the mouth of Krka River made a strategic maritime center throughout the medieval period. One of the town's most significant landmark is this cathedral you see in the picture, which is called St. James, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The cathedral, built between the 15th and the 16th century, is a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture, renowned for its intricate stone carvings and the use of a unique technique known as coral stone in its construction. The cathedral represents the culmination of the city prosperity during the Venetian Republic, when Šibenik was a part of the Venetian territory from the 15th century until the fall of the Republic in the 18th century. Šibenik is also famous for the only Venetian fortress located in the middle of the sea, at the entrance of the canal to the town. Šibenik's history is also marked by its resilience in the face of many challenges, including attacks from the Ottoman Empire, and later in its involvement in the Croatian War of Independence in the 19th. Despite these turbulent times, Šibenik has remained a vibrant cultural hub with a well-preserved medieval core, narrow winding streets, and picturesque views of the Adriatic. Today, Šibenik is a popular tourist destination, offering not only historical monuments, but also natural beauty, a beautiful sea, and nearby attraction as Krka National Park, famous for its stunning waterfalls. At the end, I would stop in Korčula. I would like to stop in Korčula. Korčula is an island in front of Dubrovnik, so in the south part of the coast. Korčula is important because it's the birthplace of the famous Venetian explorer Marco Polo. At the time, Korčula was a Venetian part of the Venetian Empire. Korčula has a rich history that dates back to the ancient times. It was settled by the Illyrians, so a population before the Romans, later by the Greeks, who called it Corcyra Melaina in the 6th century before Christ. The Roman Empire also left its mark on the island from the archaeological point of view. Korčula medieval old town, often referred as the Little Dubrovnik due to its similar architecture and layout, is one of the best preserved towns in the Mediterranean. Its narrow streets, built in a herringbone pattern, were designed to protect the town from strong winds and invasion. The town's central landmark is the Cathedral of St. Mark, a Gothic Renaissance structure that houses valuable artworks and is dedicated to the island patron saint. Throughout the century, culture was controlled by various powers, including the Byzantines, Venetians, and later Austrians, each leaving their influence in the local culture and architecture. The island's strategic location made it a key point in the Adriatic, particularly during the Venetian era, when culture flourished as a center of trade and culture. Culture is also famed for its wine production. The island vineyards, coupled with its rich history, make it a delightful destination for both history lovers and wine lovers. So, in conclusion, Brioni, Šibenik, and Korčula each represent different phases of Croatia's diverse history. From luxurious retreats of Brioni and the architectural splendor of Šibenik to the ancient tradition and stunning landscapes of Korčula, these places provide a window into the soul of Croatia. Whether you are interested in history, in culture, or natural beauty, this location offers an unforgettable experience showing the nation's remarkable heritage. Thank you for your attention. I hope this brief historical overview has sparkled your interest to learn more about this captivating destination. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Honorary Consul Alessandra Fusi, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And thank you for introducing us to these hidden gems in Croatia in their each unique landscape. Now we will take a brief interlude from the cultural storytelling session to go to a Cool Ways presentation. Joining us online is Giovanni Fontana Antonelli from the Archimedia Trust on Lucin, Italy, who will be discussing the encounters in the valorization of the architectural heritage. Giovanni Fontanella, are you with us online? Yes?
Yes, I'm online. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please introduce yourself and let us know when you would like the presentation to start.
Yes, first of all, let me share the presentation, so the first slide at least. Can you see that?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Very good. I hope, yes. Well, my name is Giovanni Fontana Antonelli. I am an architect. I've been working for about 20 years for UNESCO in different parts of the world, but primarily in Africa and the Middle East. And since a few years, I founded actually a non-profit organization, which is based in Tuscany, in Grosseto. The name is Archimedia. And we are following up we are following projects. We are fundraising for different interventions in the world towards the protection of cultural heritage, especially in conflict or post-conflict affected countries. I will be very brief. The first slide that put here as a bit, let's say, emotional slide is a photograph of two books that I had when I was a child. The great book of nature, the great book of history, that somehow really guided my entire life. Since we're talking about encounters and valorization, well, this was my first encounter with nature and history, and it led me to this one image from the book about Ur and Mesopotamia. You see the great ziggurat of Ur. Well, it took me there not long ago. This is a photo I took 1 week ago, probably, in Iraq. I'm still in Iraq right now, talking to you from Mosul. This photograph I took this morning. It's a mosque we are restoring here in Mosul. Well, from Ur, from a book of my childhood, I actually managed to work in Ur for the conservation of a temple, which is dating back to 5,000 years. And this journey is a long journey through history and nature, actually. Here I illustrated a bit my philosophy of my work philosophy, especially considering architecture not just a liberal profession, but a way to look at the world, a way to travel through the world from a very special lens, and where architecture meets heritage, so it's becoming an architectural heritage. In Arabic, they say turath, in its natural and cultural epiphenomena, is not just a mere category of tourism. The forum of these days in Florence is focusing on tourism and cultural tourism, but in my opinion, is a stratification, is a blend of space and time as we perceive it. And this encounter, going back to the title of these two concepts, created this new paradigm, the architectural heritage, in fact, which is a relatively new concept. Our ancestor, but even going back to 150 years ago, probably, they were not using the word heritage. Certainly not in Mesopotamia 5,000 years ago, nor the Egyptian, not the Renaissance time in Florence. So it's a new concept that is really entering in our relation with history and space. So human histories and time. But this concept, here is a photograph of late 19th century taken by Von Fields in Lebanon. Is the Baalbek temple, which is now under attack, as you know, unfortunately, another war, which is now threatening cultural heritage in the Middle East, in Lebanon in particular. Well, all this concept is losing its sense in the absence of the humans. You see in this photograph two humans, with the two Westerners in this case, not Lebanese, but who are there. There's also probably a child, which is Lebanese, in this photograph. We are part of this process. And this represents the legacy from the past that we need. It's so essential for us to project ourselves into the future. So the next slides, I'm not going to read the full text of Walter Benjamin from his 1940s work on the concept of history, but it's well illustrated by a painting of Paul Klee. It's Angelus Novus. I think it's a very well-known painting and a very well-known text. So it's talking about the angel of history that is trapped in this storm, which Benjamin calls the progress, which is impeding this angel to recover, to help the people from the destruction and wreckage, as Benjamin says. It's an English translation of his book. Here, one of the most striking images from our time is Palmyra in Syria. The photograph of the central temple in Palmyra, carried in the hand of an archaeologist in front of the same temple destroyed by ISIS, in this case, or Daesh, which is really creating for us, a sort of paradigm of our time, where we are not stopping even in front of the destruction of important heritage like the one of Palmyra. My slide is blocked now. Don't know why, but yeah. And then we are going back to the main threatening factors of our time. Conflicts are also now paired with more and more severe impact of climate change. This is a photograph of the Vila do Ibo in northern Mozambique, where a cyclone in 2019 destroyed the majority of the buildings, or uncovered the roofs of the colonial historic buildings of the Portuguese time in this beautiful island in Mozambique. And so now we are called to work for this type of recovery as well, so from conflict and climate change. The mission of Archimedia, I make it very, very shortly, is working together with local communities, international joining efforts with local communities. This is the mosque 3 years ago when we started the project of the mosque that is probably behind me now, where I was this morning to follow up the conclusion of this work. The role of local communities is very, very important, of course, because it is without them we cannot carry out a real conservation of this heritage. The local community have the ownership. They have the ownership of their heritage, and without which it's not possible to really serve anything in the same locations. Now, very, very quickly, an important notion about the surveying, the documentation. Patrick Geddes, probably one of the fathers of urban planning of the 19th century, who was a biologist by training. He was saying that before any treatment, we need to make a diagnosis, so the survey in this case. And now technology is enabling us to carry out this task in a very accurate manner. We are in Kosovo, also another area, affected by conflict not too long ago, already now 25 years ago. It's the Arsana Castle in the highlands of Kosovo. Here we are working, our team, for a condition assessment, which is coming after the surveying. We are entering into the conservation. Here we are in Butrint, another World Heritage Site in Albania, in the south of Albania, and you see here the type of work that is coming out of the field research. Our same team, our engineers and architects, reaching an immensely beautiful and unique now tower, because it's the only remaining Byzantine stele tower in the world, in Jordan, in the World Heritage Site of Rasas, very far to reach the place. So we use a crane with a basket to go closer to the high part of this tower. And this is the mosque we are working in Mosul, in Iraq. In this case, there was a severe concentration of our work on the ERW. For the people who are not specialized, ERW means explosive remnant of war, which means all the unexploded ordnances that are found after the war. Now we are witnessing Ukraine, of course, but also Gaza and Lebanon, without considering the various conflicts in Africa that are also there. And you see here the situation of a RPG, a rocket-propelled grenade that is totally inserted within the masonry of the dome that then later on we restored. This is the work in our mosque. It's also very important for reconciling and creating social cohesion in the city. Now Mosul is not recognizable comparing to what I see in Mosul 4 or 5 years ago when I started my work here. It's a vibrant city, quite safe and absolutely livable, where we are doing a lot of work. This is the work in Ibo. You saw the aerial photograph of the cyclone Kenneth that destroyed a number of buildings. Here you see one of the buildings without a roof. And losing the roof then is giving the floor to the nature to recolonize the buildings. And that's why we're now also clearing a number of buildings to enable the restoration of them after a thorough survey of the island. I stop here. Here there are 3 plans, but there's not much time to explain these things. Maybe just this slide about an important project I followed up when I was with UNESCO in Palestine. So where human rights defense passed through the landscape protection, cultural landscape protection, a World Heritage Site, and became the defender of the local community livelihood and human rights. Another project in Palestine, where building resilience also through the knowledge of the tradition. In this case, the mud brick technology, how the adobe, so how the brick itself could be the leverage for increasing the resilience within the community, which is suffering from occupation and apartheid, and the ICJ recently asserted. This is also another major project that I had the pleasure to participate with and coordinate on behalf of UNESCO. Is the reconstruction, the post-conflict reconstruction planning of Mosul old city. Here, just one very short notice on this image. If you look at the image on the left with the red dots, you will probably identify a major big red dot, which corresponds to the historic town. Well, the red dots are bombs. It's a mapping of the bombs on the GIS document of the map of the city, and you see the concentration of bombs in the old city that determined. You see the photographs, the almost total destruction of the old city. This is very important because it tells us that today, at the beginning of the 21st century, our human group, human being, is still not very, very sensitive in the protection of cultural heritage. Thank you so much. I hope I was not too long. The floor is over to the next speaker. Thank you.
Antonelli, for your presentation and for the powerful work that you are doing, not only in the Middle East, but also in certain parts of Africa. I would like to now point to our next speaker who is online from Azerbaijan. We have Aytaj Babejava from the Azerbaijan Tourism and Management University. Aytaj, are you with us? Aytaj Babejava from the Azerbaijan Tourism and Management University.
I think that they have some problems with audio, as you can see in the screen. It's no audio with Benia, Marika. We have a problem with audio. Nadia is okay, but I think that is the teacher.
Perhaps we can go to the next speaker.
Yes.
So the next speaker is also online from...
The next in presence, please.
The next in presence speaker is Lorenzo Manzani from the Association Friends of Florentine Museums, speaking today about tabernacles and community. Please, welcome to the stage. And let us know when you would like the presentation to start.
Thanks, Noora. Good evening to everybody. Thanks to Romualdo Del Bianco Foundation and the movement Life Beyond Tourism for the invitation. I'm Lorenzo Manzani. I'm a member of the Comitato per il Decoro ed il Restauro dei Tabernacoli. Può già partire se le immagini, così guadagniamo tempo. Grazie. I'm a member of the Comitato per il Decoro ed il Restauro dei Tabernacoli, a special committee inside Amici dei Musei e dei Monumenti Fiorentini Association. We work about Florentine road tabernacles, a particular kind of artworks you can see along public streets, crossroads, pilgrimage routes, street corners. Our committee is composed by art historians, architects, simple volunteers. Everyone can work, collaborate with us, official of other public institutions. Our activities, our mission is restoring tabernacle, but we take care of all the aspects about road tabernacles. At the end of each hour restoration, we organize a public inauguration, and we organize also some other events with the citizens, scholastic students, and so on. This is an example of our restoration. Observe the differences between after the restoration. You see the painting was all dirty, blackened, and after our restoration on your right. We collaborate with the Florentine Public Illumination Society. At the end of each hour restoration, we put a lighting in the tabernacle. I advise you to walk in Florence in the evening. Illuminated tabernacles are very charming, fascinating, like this. This is one of the most important and biggest tabernacle in Florence, in front of Orsa Michele. You know, an illuminated street with illuminated tabernacles is also useful for the social public security against urban crime. So I think it's a particular aspect important for all the community, for all the citizens, and also because of the beautifulness, of course. Restoring tabernacles is also useful for the urban decor. Sometimes we have restored not only the tabernacle, the artwork, but all the context surrounding. All the context surrounding benefits from the restoration of a tabernacle. This is the final result. This is, you see, with the illumination, all clean. This is Madonna with the Child and Angels, a copy by Antonio Rossellini, 16th century. This is another example of restoration of a tabernacle and urban decor at the same time. Here we are in Via Chiara and in front of a Central Market in San Lorenzo quarter. This road tabernacle was in a very bad situation, you see. Then we organized a crowdfunding meeting for the restoration. All the community of San Lorenzo quarter gave money for the restoration. You see the title of the newspaper, San Lorenzo adopts the forgotten tabernacle. So this tabernacle was restored by all the community. At the end of each hour restoration, we organize a public inauguration. This is an example at Santa Maria Novella. You see on your right the Basilica and on your left the road tabernacle. In each hour inauguration, we call the parish priest of the zone to bless the restored tabernacle. Here at St. Ambrose, you see on your left St. Ambrose parish priest is blessing the tabernacle with all the participants, with the Friends of Florence, an American no-profit association who financed the restoration. You see the sense of the community with the people all around. Another event, cultural event initiatives we organize with the citizens is Tabernacles and Poetry. We explain the history of the tabernacle, then citizens, everyone, can read a poem, freely chosen. Last year we were in this event took place in San Lorenzo quarter. You see before the tabernacle of Via Sant'Antonino near Central Market. Here at Tabernacle of the Fonticine, which is one of the most important road tabernacles in Florida, very monumental, you see. At these appointments, also Ithaca Association participate. Ithaca Association is composed by mental disabled boys and guys and girls, but they participate at these our appointments with passion, with enthusiasm. They also wrote some poems. They have been fantastic, really. This year, this particular event took place in San Frediano Quarter. You see the tabernacle at Torino di Santa Rosa. On your right, on your left, the inauguration of the restoration with the Friends of Florence sponsorization 1 year ago. 2 years ago, we organized also a special tabernacle day with scholastic students, with the 3 school classes, elementary, middle school, and high school, lyceum. And we gave to the student some historical artistic information about the tabernacles. Then students studied in depth. They found more other information, and they have been fantastic. We organize also other events with the citizens, conventions, presentations in Sala d'Arme of Palazzo Vecchio, and also in this auditorium. Do you recognize? Okay. And last summer, we organized also some guided tours. In these itineraries, in this tour, I explain not only the road tabernacle, you see the photo in the center, but also ancient monuments, museum, you see on the right Basilica of San Lorenzo. So not only tabernacle, but all the historical artistic elements along the itineraries. Our contacts, if you want to finance the restoration of, if you want to indicate as a tabernacle who needs a restoration, make road tabernacles still alive with the active participation interest of all the community, citizens, residents, teenagers. It's important to involve, sensitize also younger people to cultural heritage of their cities. Road tabernacles are an extraordinary cultural heritage to discover. Thank you very much for your attention. I'd like to thank also all the staff, Noora, Cosimo Civita del Bianco is very nice in these days, and also Giorgia Carati, and also all the guys at the reception. Thank you.
Thank you for introducing us to the tabernacles, which I've seen before, but I didn't know their names. So now I think we can move to the online group. So from the Azerbaijan Tourism and Management University, we have a group discussing the ancient village in the clouds. You may start if you'd like to share your screens.
Yes, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we'd like to greet you from Azerbaijan and Baku. I'm Martelli, a lecturer of Azerbaijan Tourism and Management University. At today's festival, our university will be proudly represented students of Azerbaijan Tourism Management University, and as well as students of Azerbaijan Austrian Tourism Program, Nihat Sadegov and Fidan Ahmedova. Our team will present about Khunalık village in the Azerbaijan under the title The Ancient Village in the Clouds. We continue with our students. Okay, Fidan, please.
Hello, my name is Fidan. I will start the presentation from the overview of Khunalık. Khunalık is perched at 2,350 meters, the Greater Caucasus Mountains in Azerbaijan. It's one of the world's oldest continuously inhabited villages with a history spanning over 5,000 years, located in Guba district, about 200 to 20 kilometers northwest of Baku. It offers a glimpse into a way of a life shaped by time and nature. The villagers speak unique language found nowhere else and live in stone homes arranged on the terrace hills, where the rooftop of one house serves as a courtyard for the one above. The scenic landscapes, crystal clear night skies, and the warm hospitality of the locals make Khunalık an unforgettable experience. And also there in the village around the 2,000 residents. Going to the cultural and historical significance, the village has been inhabited for centuries, and its residents continues to practice ancient traditions passed down through generations. The culture of Khunalık is deeply tied to the land, with the local language and customs remaining intact despite the influence of modernity. The village has also played a crucial role in Azerbaijan's history as a resilient community living at the heart of the Caucasus. Then there's a few specialties, for example, such as traditional stone houses, the warm and welcoming villagers, and mountain-based lifestyle. And then the other slide. Just a moment. Then I'm going to talk about the Khunalık and Migration Road State, Historical, Cultural, and Ethnographic Reserve. The migration road itself is 200 kilometers long, which is also covers territories, administrative districts, Guzba, Gusar, Şamaxı, Kobustan, Hacıkapı, and Abşeron. The Khunalık village is home to a distinctive semi-nomad ethnic group. The Khunalık people primarily engaged in a livestock breeding between the highland summer pastures and the winter pastures. And also each year, more than 10,000 people own over the 400,000 livestock. And then the other slide. I'm going to talk about the Shepherd's Day. Shepherd's Day is also celebrated to honor the shepherding lifestyles that has sustained the community for centuries. They even included traditional songs, dances, and rituals to unique Khanalics mountainous culture, highlighting the deep connection between the villagers and their pastoral heritage. Celebrating Shepherd's Day at the shepherd leads to his flock through a smeared landscape, highlighting a harmony between humans and nature. And then also about the specialties, and even though the Khanalik is one of the oldest inhabited villages in the Caucasus, this tradition is still celebrated each year. About the crucial significance, the shepherding is central to the Khanalics' heritage, and this celebration preserves traditional songs, dances, and herding customs. And a little bit tips to the visitors during the Shepherd's Day for an authentic experience, dress for a mountain's weather and consider a guide to learn about the local customs. The next slide is about the scenic viewpoints. The Khanalics' natural beauty is truly unmatched with the several scenic viewpoints scattered through the village and surrounding areas. From these vantage points, the visitors can take in the sweeping views of the mountain ranges, lush green pastures, and the winding roads and lead to the village. And then about the also specialties and the tips. From the special parts is the breathtaking mount view and the rocky outcrops and the deep green valleys. About the visitor tips, is to wear comfortable shoes for walking, as some of the viewpoints may require a short hike, for example, such as Kabbalah Hudat Trail. Also, the best time to visit these places is early spring and late summer. The next part will continue on Nihat.
Yes, in this slide, I will talk about Khanalik Museum. And let's start with the description. In this descriptions, Khanalik Museum is a small but rich cultural institution located in the village. In this museum, you can see a lot of historical artifications and traditional crafts and so on. Also, it's all of them show to Khanalik unique history and the heritage of the people. And what makes Khanalik place special? The museum is not only a place to observe history, but also to understand the interact link between the village and environment. Also, all exhibitions display everything from the antique tools to beautiful handmade textiles. Each piece is telling a story. And next slide, I will say some tips for the visitors. When you go to this museums, you can take your time and read some story behind this exhibition. And also in this stories, the museum provides two languages, Azerbaijan and English language. Also, don't forget to ask some question to the museum staff, and they will be, say to some village myths and legends. Now I will tell some next slide, Sheikh Shalbus Mosque. This mosque is also located in Khanalik and in an Azerbaijan region. And what makes this mosque special? This mosque was built in the 17th century, and some people, which is they come from the in 13th century from the Iraq land, and this mosque cultural signification is their teach the people with this, like Islamic things, like they're learning Islam, they're learning Arabic and Persian. Today, the mosque remaining a pilgrim site, especially during the fasting months. And next one also is Abu Muslim Mosque. The Abu Muslim Mosque located in the antique village of Khanalik, Azerbaijan. This is the state-protected architectural monument with a deep historical and cultural legacy. And what makes it special? This mosque was built in the 8th or 9th century, and they build beautiful stones and wood carving. Also, this tradition seems to like a mountain village in Azerbaijan and Dagestan, and its cultural significance is Islamic. This mosque was founded by Abbasid general Abu Muslim and their followers. And this is picture show to in a museum. They provide and mention the people like some Jamil Mustafazade's pictures. And next one is the cultural workshop. And this part descriptions in Kınalık, visitors have the opportunity like engaging in a hands-on workshop delayed by local artisans. Also, you can find some crafts, pottery, carpet weaving. And what makes this place special? As I said again, their carpet weaving, hand-woven carpets, and pottery makes this place special. And for some tips for the visitors when they go to like this type of place, they can give and like they can buy some pottery and like a souvenir for themselves. Also, they will be support and give a impact for our Kınalık people environment. And next one is the traditional cuisines. In this part, Kınalık region cuisine is significantly different from the Azerbaijan because they use some mountain herbs and lamb as an ingredient. And we can say some example what type of cuisines or meals they make. For example, dolma, gutab, and shakuka. And I will give you some tips for the visitors. Like when they go to this place, they pair with a local dairy, enjoying meals with a traditional dairy product like a fresh cheese or some yogurt, which we say in Azerbaijan gatık. And also when they go to like Kınalık in a seasonal time, they can like eat some seasonal ingredients and also add some meals. And the last one is connecting with the locals, engaging with the villagers and join them for the tea or meals. Also, they will be offered to you free, and you can get in touch with them and learn more story behind the dishes. And lastly, this is our reference, which is we get all the information. And last one, thank you for the attention.
Thank you. Thank you for attention and also supporting our participation. Thank you for everyone.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today and for being with us and for introducing us to Azerbaijan as what it truly is, which is really a cultural melting pot. Now we will go back to Odessa with our online speaker from the Odessa National Economic University. Masha Elson, are you online with us? Masha Elson from the Odessa National Economic University. Okay, perhaps we can go to the next speaker. So from the Tbilisi State Academy of Arts in Georgia, online joining us is George Darkiashvili. George, are you with us online?
George has audio, no audio, but the camera is working, but it's no audio with George.
Okay, so then maybe we can move to the next speaker. With us in person, we should have the team from Kazakhstan, if they're in the room right now. So we have Dani Bekova, Elvira, and Tuya Kaeva.
Excuse me.
Yes.
George
Sorry.
Activating. George, please activate your mic, please. George.
Hello?
Yes.
Hi, George.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So should I play the video or?
Yes.
Please remember to share the audio function. When you share your video audio, remember to activate audio sharing.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay.
We cannot see it here.
Hi, my name is Gheorghe. I'm from Georgia. Now I'm representing Tbilisi State Academy of Arts. I'm a PhD student there. But right now I live in Poland, and that's where I'm connecting you to you from. So let's start. Tbilisi, the crossroads of Western and Eastern cultures. I'm very excited to welcome you to my city because, as I said, I'm far away from it now, and it will be another journey for me. And I'm thrilled to take you to my hometown. Nowadays, as I said, I live in Poland, and I'm excited every time when I go back and see the influence of the crossroads of Western and Eastern cultures. It is very visible in the old town, and it is fascinating actually to rediscover my city every time. Tbilisi has quite interesting history, and its location has defined the way it looks now. Oh, sorry. Okay. As you might know, Tbilisi was one of the key stops on the Silk Road, where traders from every direction exchanged their goods, ideas, and cultures. Architectural diversity tells a story of these cross-cultural exchanges. In Tbilisi, medieval fortress sits next to neoclassical buildings, blend with the Persian-inspired design. Walking through the city is like journeying through the time, as each street and building has its own layer of history. Tbilisi's religious sites also highlight the cultural diversity in here. You can find churches, synagogue, mosque, different kinds of churches, of course. Within the same neighborhood, people with different nationalities, beliefs, somehow found a way to coexist and live together. This sets such a great example for the new generations, as they can live and understand each other. One of the reasons why Tbilisi exists in this place are the hot waters. This is pretty much the main reason. Because there is a legend that our king was hunting and his peasant fell in the water and boiled it, and that's when he discovered this Tbilisi, as Tbili in Georgian means warm. But let's be honest. Later, it was discovered that much more before than this hunting happened. Tbilisi existed in this place before, and there are facts found by archaeologists there. But it's just a nice story. But returning to the 5th century, imagine having hot water accessible for the city. This is a very positive for the city. It helps. We know why the hot water is good. Anyways, later in this place, as you see these domes on this picture, sulfur baths were built, which is nowadays very iconic place for Tbilisi. It is the very old town. These baths are influenced by Persian and Ottoman traditions. For centuries, it was a place. And that's why this is very important place. This is how it looks like from the inside. It's great place to steam out after, to let the steam out after the trekking in the Georgian mountains, as you might know, Georgia is full of mountains. And next stop, not to be very in Asian style, here is the European style of Tbilisi, Armashenebeli Avenue, one of the remarkable architectural legacy, primarily shaped by German and Polish architects in the 19th and 20th century. This place makes you feel as you were walking in the central Europe. And the modern architecture, this bridge is a symbol of modern Tbilisi, Bridge of Peace. Designed by an Italian architect, bridge is built on Quarry River. Sometimes it's known as Kura River also, which connects, this bridge connects Tbilisi's two sides, old and even older districts with each other. This bridge also symbolizes the commitment to both tradition and the progress of my country. One of the buildings that I like always to underline with this mixture of Asian and European styles of architecture is the Opera House. This Opera House is built by the same architect as the Kiev Opera House. And you can see that this architect always shows the idea or the history of the country, and very good example of how Georgian mixed cultures are visible here. As from the outside, it looks quite Asian style with its windows shaped like Asian windows. Inside, it's very European, and if you have a chance while visiting Georgia, I would recommend to go inside on some concept. Oops, I missed the very important part of it's hard to talk about Georgia and its capital without Georgian cuisine. Khinkali, for example, dumplings with mostly with the meats and juice inside. Khachapuri, baked pastry with cheese and melted inside. Eggplants with nut paste. Also churchelas, nuts hidden inside of jelly grape juice. The list goes on, and if you go to Georgian restaurants, you might see that the menu looks like a real big book to choose from, and sometimes it might be hard to choose it. Okay. Once again, this cultural diversity and the Silk Road is visible even in the Georgian kitchen, as a lot of spices were brought by these people who were trading across the countries. I especially made these pictures really small, not to make you hungry, actually. And the Georgian dance, a great way to feel the history of Georgia by just watching Georgian dance. Each region of Georgia has its own style of music. Each of them have a story to tell. They can be about war, love, fight for it. If you have a chance to visit it, also you won't regret it. I really recommend it. For example, this dance. In this dance, man is fighting to conquer the woman's heart. In Georgian culture, it is interesting that if men are fighting, and the woman throws the headscarf between them, it means that they have to stop right away. They cannot fight anymore. So they just show this tradition in this dance. And Georgian language, this is the language we use nowadays, but there were three alphabets actually, Asom, Tauruli, Nuskuri, and Khedruli. Khedruli is this one, the one you see. Most of the Georgian books are written in this language. Georgian is one of 13 alphabets that exist now and is alive. And here is an example of, for example, 12th century manuscript of the Gospel. It's held in Mestia Museum, but I had to use it here. one of the great poems. You might be familiar with a knight with in the skin, in the panther skin. It's also 12th century by Shota Rustaveli. It's translated in many languages, and so this is accessible in the different languages. Not to skip the painting part, these are paintings by Pirosmani, a painter from the beginning of 20th century. He depicted the life of Tbilisi. In his paintings became actually known after his death. He used to paint for the restaurants in exchange of food, and nowadays his paintings cost millions of dollars, probably. Not probably, but exactly. Tbilisi is not only beautiful in the morning or during the day. It's very beautiful in the evening. It's colorful and shiny. There are several streets in the different parts of the city where especially made for clubs, bars, restaurants, especially busy in the evenings of the weekends. Very nice to walk in the evening. In 2010, I think that Tbilisi was one of the safest cities in the Europe. So I think you might be you might want to take a walk there. And the next stop. This place is not very known. The place where I am photographed these pictures, but I always visit this place as soon as I go back to my city, just to have a beautiful panorama over the city, to look at the evening, how the evening looks. Look at the little windows just shining or lit up. The families come together and look at this antenna. I remember in 2008 when Tbilisi was under attack by Russians. We'll get back to this topic a bit later. I used to look at this antenna because it was a strategic place if it will be standing next day. So I like this view because of my own personal history. Georgia and its capital, as I spoiled before. Georgia and its capital have a rich, vibrant history, but its location and history shows that it was attacked many times. Many invaders have tried to conquer, occupy, and destroy Tbilisi over centuries, including in 2008 Russian invasion, which left 20% under the occupation. Yet Tbilisi and Georgia together, I always think about them. Tbilisi and Georgia stands resilient, determined to be free, committed to have a European future, and dedicated to being vibrant, remarkable city. As right now, you might know we are protecting our elections, and here we go. This is an ancient, modern influence live side by side. This is not just a place; it's an experience. And I invite you to Tbilisi.
George, sorry, I just wanted to tell you that your time is coming to an end. So to wrap
I
up.
just finished.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, George.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for showing us Tbilisi, where the East really meets the West. I think now our group from Odessa has managed to join us online, so I would like to welcome the Odessa National Economic University with the topic of Odessa, Strong and Beautiful. You're welcome to start. Can you hear us from the team in Odessa? We're ready for you to start whenever you are. Your microphone is muted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Just the one thing that maybe it's a little mistake because our title is Swiss made. So maybe it was just a little problem with that, but okay, we're ready to present.
Yes.
So good day, everyone. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to present today our project with my professor, Nadia Xerova. So today we will take a little city tour to Geneva. So Geneva is a city where elegance meets history, offering a serving of sanctuary of renewed figures. Known as the capital of luxury watchmaking, Geneva impresses with a blend of Gothic, neoclassic, and modern architecture. At the first glance, it may appear reserved, but as you explore the old town and lake views, it reveals as unique charm, much like in famed chocolate and fondue. It's a place where precision and warmth coexist, offering not just a grandeur, but a heartfelt experience to hosts who wander through its streets. So we'll have the 3 main stops in our tour, and I would like to start with the San Spiro Cathedral, which is situated in Old Town. It showcases of centuries of architecture evolution, blending Gothic, Romanesque, and neoclassic styles. So this cathedral, it was building like for about 300 years. So it took many different architecture styles in it. And what we love about this place, that its grandeur and serenity are inspiring, offering and important uplift and reflection on history. So as also I want to say, this place is very important because it's a historical symbol of the Protestant Reformation by Calvin with deep cultural significance for Geneva. So also special tips, arrive early so that you can avoid the crowds and enjoy the chime of the bells. And don't miss the panoramic view from the top after climbing 157 steps. I personally did that. It was hard, but it worth that. To also say that under this cathedral, you can have a historical archaeological site museum because in the old time it was Roman sanctuary, so it will be very nice to see that too. Our second stop is the Patek Philippe Museum. So it's a testament to Geneva's watchmaking tradition, displaying engraved timepieces from across the centuries. In left, you can see the Anthony Patek and Adrian Philippe in right. So this is 2 friends who established this company in 1839. What we love about this place that it merges art and mechanical mastery in a way that it fascinates even not watch enthusiasts. This place is important because it highlights Geneva's role as the world watchmaking capital, showcasing the pinnacle of Swiss craftsmanship. Also, like interesting fact, world famous philosopher Rousseau, he was from the Geneva's watchmakers family. Yeah. Also special tips that entry is free for children under 18, and for adults it's only 10 francs. So it's a perfect place for a family visit or just for who is curious. Our next stop is the Fabergé Chocolate Factory. So it's established in 1826. It's one of the oldest Geneva's chocolatiers, and it's offering a delicious dive into Swiss chocolate making traditions. So what we love about this place that we can see how chocolate is being made, and testing it fresh from the source is unforgettable experience. Also, this place is important because Fabergé, it's a symbol of Swiss culinary heritage, renewed for its qualities and traditional recipes. So as a special tips, I can recommend book a tour in advance and try their signature praliné. So it's an excellent stop and a good example of sweet souvenir that you can take from Geneva. Also, I cannot not to say about the Swiss cuisine, and the 2 typical dishes is raclette and fondue, which is a type of cheese and also represent a theme of milk, that it's important for Swiss and Swiss culture. So rosti, it's delicious, simple but very delicious dish made of baked potatoes. So, and also the thing which will be very nice to see in Geneva, it's escalade. It's a holiday that symbolizes a victory, Geneva under the French army of Duke Savoy in 1602. So, according to the legend, there was a Mother Rayam, mother of 14 children. She was preparing a soup for her family, and she saw the army, so she poured a pot of the soup, and like that, she woke up all the city, and the pot became a symbol of victory and of this holiday. So now, on 12 December, we prepare chocolate pots with the marzipan, vegetables, and mushrooms inside. So thank you very much for your attention. Hope you liked the presentation, and welcome to Geneva. Thank you.
Thank you, Malika, for showing us the beauty of Geneva. I would now like to welcome our in-person guests from Kazakhstan, Dani Bikova Elvira and Tuya Kaveva Ainagul, who will be discussing underground mosques of Kazakhstan as monuments of cultural heritage. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I believe, excuse me, we'll be actually taking an interlude first for the cool ways. I would like to introduce Espera Donavusi, the ICRAM Africa program in Benin. Excuse me. Please, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to start by just asking the big technicians to please help to play the video from Itinerary first, please.
The Itinerary footprint site is an archaeological site situated at Itinerary village along the eastern shores of Lake Turkana in northern Kenya. The site is one among others that showcases significant attributes to the study of human origins, making Kenya home of human origins. The site, however, faces challenges such as climate change-induced soil erosion and human anthropogenic livestock grazing. This therefore calls for structural engineering techniques as well as active involvement and support from the local Dasanach community to ensure long-term preservation and promotion. Towards this endeavor, the Itinerary Footprint Project under the National Museums of Kenya is largely funded by the British Council Fund for Cultural Protection and partly supported by ICRAM. The project's objectives are to construct gabions and retaining walls along the site to slow and prevent movement of sediments within the site, as well as to construct soak pits to absorb flood waters and direct this water to an underground water tank, which will act as a reservoir for water for community use. The project also aims to empower and train the local community members to manage and benefit from these heritage resources through digital technology, performing arts and crafts, entrepreneurship, and marketing skills. Youth and women are already involved in music, dance, beadworks, digital documentation, and marketing skills. An interpretation center to showcase the importance of the site as well as the cultural wealth of the Dasanach community for public awareness and tourism is also under construction. This space will also be used for marketing and sale of heritage-inspired products. Research by scientists and researchers in the field of paleoanthropology, ecology, and geology is also being undertaken to further understand the site in the context of human origins, biodiversity, and climate change. This research will explore innovative ways in which the scientists can collaborate with the local community in developing solutions to mitigate loss of heritage through climate change via teamwork and alternative livelihoods. Other partners in the project include the County Government of Marsabit, the Technical University of Kenya, George Washington University, Chatham University, and Kenya Wildlife Services.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask you, can you please go and visit Ileret? But I know it's a very, very long trip. But for me, particularly coming to this particular festival, is talk about how we place people, nature, and culture in the same pot that we call local communities. And then we've been kind of taking advantage of this word of local community, engage local community, but how far do we engage with local community? And how far local community become, remain the right holder of heritage, and how they become part of particular management of heritage sites. And then we have a kind of a very extraordinary, fantastic experience with communities, so I want to share with you. Ileret. So where is Ileret? As you may see on the screen, Ileret is very, very northern Kenya, and you all know about Lake Turkana. Lake Turkana for the past 10 years is going through difficulty because of climate change. So at some point, there's no water at all, and people living close to this lake lacking water. And the next month, they are flooded. They are flooding, and people are losing their life because of flood. So, like the color is like today we have no water. We start for water. Tomorrow we have water. Water is cleaners. And then we feel like, okay, let's go to this particular community and try to do a project. But our proposal first is to go and safeguard this particular footprint. So when anthropologists were doing research, they found out there's a footprint in Ileret with dates of 1.5 million years. And then because of water, because of climate change, the footprint is disappearing. And research like universities in Kenya, in America, in Europe, come together and say, okay, how do we preserve this footprint? And then we got some funding from British Council to go to Ileret in Lake Turkana to preserve this footprint. So this is the footprint seen by researchers. This is a footprint seen by local community within their own art craft. So when we go to the community, for us is a way of engaging community into how do we preserve heritage. And we knew about the footprint. But when we get coming together to understand what is your heritage, they have a different way of defining heritage. And the footprint for which we got grant for them is not something like very important. It is the heritage, but it comes in a long list of heritage. So we figure, okay, we cannot continue this particular project without defining with the community what they call heritage. And here we are saying that heritage must be defined and respected within a cultural context of local community. Because they have a long list of heritage, from the land, water, trees, their everyday life is part of the heritage. So we, based on their perspective, we designed a project to see how local communities, as seen from beneficiaries, move to key stakeholders in this particular project. And yes, then I cannot read this thing. Yes. So we've tried to bring different elements of the community in our projects. And they start playing a key role of say how they perceive the heritage, how the heritage for them become part of the everyday life, and they would like us as a ICROM and partners to manage the project from the perspective. Now, when we start, first we ask them to come and listen to us. And then for them, they are used to so many researchers around the world, in America, in Europe, going to iterate and do research, and they give them token, some little money to come for research, interviews, and discussions. And so they are used to take a particular token. So they ask, before we come to your event, to come to your workshop, we need you to give money. And we were kind of hesitant from the beginning, but at least we have to pay for transportation. But from the first and the second meeting, they become part of the project. Now, people who are on the project, we are all based in Nairobi or in Rome or in the US, but local community now, sorry for my voice. Now they are taking complete over the project through our skill development scheme that we put together to train the youth to understand what is the heritage, how do we preserve it, what is the cycle of heritage management, and also train young people to use digital technologies to document the heritage site. At the same time, we also trying to train the women to even have a kind of beautify more of the craft work, and how do we put into kind of a business scheme for them to even kind of export and have a beautiful artwork. You may see on our table there, those artwork. And now we are performing heritage, because for them, it's not like seeing a building, not like seeing just kind of a footprint, but how do we put this particular heritage into performances? How do we perform heritage? How do we show this is our heritage? And as I say, when they are doing kind of a craft, for them there was avenue for business model, there are avenue for business money making, and we support them in design different artwork. But I'm sorry. But we went to Itinerary because of the footprint. Oh, thank you so much. I'm sorry. So we went to Itinerary for the footprint. And in our project, there's a museum project. It's called Community Museum. Then we have to sit with the community and design how they perceive this particular museum, what they think should be the content of this particular museum. And now together, we give them opportunities to be part of the work, to design, and also part of the workforce to have this particular. And I will say, water is a problem in this community. And how do we take advantage of this project and solve another problem for social cohesion in this particular state? So we built water, some well to retain water for community to be able to reuse later on. And when there is kind of erosions, the footprint is disappearing. So we are now putting gabions together. But those gabions have been co-conceived with communities and experts from Nairobi, and then the workers doing the gabions are communities. So now that they find like the footprints become part of their life. And then what about footprints around the world dedicated to their community. So we have gabions to protect against those things. And that we learned some lessons from this particular project. Like, we cannot always sit in our offices and frame what is local community. We cannot always design projects and go and put into local community. We need to get community involved in our design phase of our project, even ask them to become a key stakeholders. Because when we leave the project place, the communities are the one who take care of the project outcomes. So I thank you, and then we are here to discuss. We can go into more detail about the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Espera, for showing us the value of really integrating community members and stakeholders as the local custodians of their own histories. I would now like to invite Dani Bekova Elvira and Tuya Kaeva Ainagol from Kazakhstan finally to join come to the stage from the International Education Corporation in Kazakhstan, who will be discussing the underground mosques of Kazakhstan as monuments of cultural heritage. Please welcome to the stage.
Good day for everybody at this very interesting event. We are glad to be here. Relationship of our university between our university and Romualdo Del Bianco organization have a long story. And thank you for your invitation. Because of Kazakhstan has a large territory with huge amount of interesting places of cultural heritage significance. Let us share with only one of them. Underground mosque of Kazakhstan as monuments of cultural heritage. The current Kazakh section of the Silk Road characterized by the unique complex of historical, archaeological, architectural, urban planning, art monument as a nomadic and sedentary cultures of Central Asian people. Among the cultural heritage, special place is occupied by memorial and cult monuments of Ustyurt and Mangostau. Mangostau region is located on the eastern coast of Caspian Sea in the western part of Kazakhstan. The desert climate of the Mangshlag Peninsula is arid with strong winds. Summers can be very hot and winters are harsh. High solar activities in this region affect the soil, making it dry and saline. Unique landscapes, as you see, and biosphere have become a strange backdrop for the equally amazing underground and rock mosques. Mosques are modest but expressive space located underground with holes and resemble caves, creating an atmosphere of privacy typical of Sufi architecture. Sufi architecture is a unique type of Islamic architecture and design includes minimalism, the use of natural light and partial shading, the conditioning of the local climate and its integration with nature, symbols and geometric patterns. Chopanata Mosque dates back to the 13th and 15th centuries and combines elements of Islamic architecture with local traditional culture. Its underground part carved into limestone rock. The architecture adapts to the desert conditions, keeping it cool in hot seasons. The mosque consists of chambers and rooms connected by narrow corridors with natural light and ventilation provided through upper openings. Chakpagata Mosque is unique underground structures that dates back to the 10th and 13th centuries. Its architecture is remarkable for its integration with the natural environment as it's carved entirely from limestone rock, which helps maintain a cool temperature during the hot season and protect the structure from the harsh desert climate. Mosque has a cruciform layout with the central hall located under the center of the cross. The space of the hall is reinforced by arch supported by 4 columns and at each corner. All columns have different capitals, enter this as in classical order, adding to the overall aesthetic of the building. Shakbagata Mosque lacks to the traditional decorative elements found in Eastern Islamic architecture, such as bright ornaments, luxury decorations. Instead, the eco-friendly and functional design combines stone walls for natural insulation and protection from wind and sandstorms, creating an harmonious blend with surrounding environment. Walls are decorated with minimalist carving, including ancient pre-Islamic rock images and Sufi symbols such as palm image and etc. Carved elements resemble traditional Kazakh patterns, paying homage to the local culture and emphasizing in the connection with nomadic traditions in the region. Biketata Mosque, dating back to the 18th century, visitors must first descend 2.5 kilometers and then climb a hill. Along the way, there are places every 20 approximately meters for relaxing. The mosque includes rooms and narrow corridors as labyrinth. The entrance to the mosque is hidden among the rocks, making it almost invisible. Inside the main prayer hall is a square space with minimal decoration featuring Arabic hand-carved inscriptions of the walls as well as symbolic motifs, typical of both Islamic and Kazakh culture. Light filters through small openings in the walls, creating a soft semi-dark atmosphere that encourages concentration and meditation. Karaman Ata Mosque, dating from the 13th to 15th centuries, stand out for its unique underground structures. These structures not only provide a cool refuge during the sultry summer months, but also serves as symbol of seclusion and spiritual solitude. Most main rooms include a zenithal opening with a wooden pole symbolizing a conduit for spirits and the chant of prayers to the heaven. Too short time for presentation. Thank you.
Let's introduce the conclusion of our research. The underground mosque of Mangistau, Kazakhstan, served as the cultural religious centers in the West Steppe and arid regions, providing not only space for the worship, but also the cultural gatherings, education, and celebrations. The architecture and art of this mosque represent an harmonious blend of unique local traditions with the familiar influence from the ancient and medieval art across the Caspian Basin. They reflect the legacy of various generations of nomads, leaving cultural imprint such as the Tamgas of the Oghuz, Kazakh and Turkmen necropolises, or lion bas-relief of the Bileulin caravanserai, and etc., thus shaping the regional identity influenced by the climate, history, and culture. The entrances and interiors of all mosques are designed in the minimalism style with a focus on simple lines and shapes. Unlike traditional mosques, these mosques do not have high domes or minarets. They represent respect for harmony with nature, which were important value for nomadic people. The buildings protect from the negative effect of climate, creates an atmosphere of privacy and concentration, typical for Sufi architecture. And finally, the architecture of underground mosque does beyond aesthetic and functionality. It is the architectural representation of philosophy and spiritual principles. These cultural landmarks remind important spiritual hubs that preserve traditions and values in order to maintain continuity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we have a quite special moment in our presentation because we are now moving in the very heart of Africa, in Republic Democratic of Congo, and we are going to introduce the ICCOD ONG, Imagine and Build the Congo of Tomorrow, with a quite exciting presentation. Live in Harmony, the indigenous Pygmy culture in South Kivu and North Kivu in Democratic Republic of Congo. A short premise. We will try to do our best for the connection conditions. You can imagine it's quite a little bit different. I would like to thank all the friends from the Pygmy community for being so determined and hold on and to try to launch and give their message in during our festival. So, Monsieur Jacques, vous êtes là? Are you there? Hello?
No, they are online, but no video and no audio.
Ouvrez les vidéos et votre audio, s'il vous plaît. Vous pouvez imaginer, c'est un peu assez difficile, mais on a. But what we have tried to give that chance of visibility and meeting with those organizations who are struggling for keeping alive and to widespread the intimate culture of this African ethnical group that is rooted since a long time in the north and south of Kivu. Cesare, if we can't get in touch with them, we can screen. However, they left us, they sent a video of their traditional dances that they are performing, the community are performing whenever a new child born. So, thank you.
Babu
For sure, after the festival, I am really in fitness. Dear Cesare, can we have a last try for our friends?
Caveri, Jack, please activate your video. Caveri, yes, online. Caveri,
oh.
Activate your audio please. How are you?
I don't know whether you are catching me. Please.
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, thanks for having seen our video, or having watched our video. Apologize for being late a little. Dear partners, dear members, you are following us by now around the world. We say hello. This is NGO, and here we are in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. On my right here we have the director Jack, and on my left here we have the PM Delphin. And right now we are going to present the culture of the Pygmy people. The culture of the Pygmy people and their way of life and life in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, specifically case of the provinces of North Kivu and South Kivu. We are in time.
Yes, we have two cams now activate.
The rich and vibrant culture of the indigenous Pygmy people, particularly in the South Kivu and North Kivu provinces, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This itinerary offers a unique opportunity to immerse yourself in their rich way of life, shaped by countries of deep connection with the lush rainforest that surround them. And in this presentation, this topic, we are going to explore 4 elements, 4 aspects, and the first one is in the environment of customary leaders. The other is local delights of the Pygmy people. We are going also to see their local customs, traditions, and the different events such as mourning, festival, and marriage. So we are just going back here to explore the internalization of customary leaders. Okay, in the environment of customary cheers of communities in the provinces of South Kivu and North Kivu in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is carried out by the Pygmy people, or is carried out by the Pygmy people who are guardians of traditional customs. The successor of the chief is chosen from among his sons, and he is born with a seed in his hands, which is a sign of choice, by the ancestors. And the latter is chased out of the kingdom with his mother just after his birth, since 2 kings cannot leave the same kingdom. And his return is conditioned with the death of his father for his enthronement. So here, the burial of the remains is done by a family called Muhombe, traditionally responsible for the burials of customary chiefs. The limbs and the trunks are buried immediately after death
and the herd is buried after being used for rituals during the enthronement of his successor. We are going to see the local diets. The staple foods of the Pygmy people their staple foods are wild yam, whose sauce is kangombo in the local language, which is prepared from the waste excrements from the entrails of wild animals. And the other is kalanda in the local language for domestic animals. They also enjoy smoked meats, caterpillars, fruits, fish, and crabs caught using traps, called choni in the local language. Another staple of their diet is fufu, and a dish prepared with cassava flour, commonly enjoyed with the meat and wild animals such as antelope, wild boar, and caterpillars like mataku, milanga, ngereboa, bihuhu, hololo, hulu, maindaenda, etc. in the local language, which highlight their connection with the surrounding forest. One of their most popular local drinks of the Pygmy people is known as kasiksi, made from bananas and fermented by sorghums. This drink has considerable importance in the community, often served at weddings, coronation of traditional leaders, and first celebrations, symbolizing hospitality and unity. The drink kasiksi, which is taken during customary ceremonies, as we can see in the images here, is shared between everyone using the same vase and the same lollipop to symbolize community ties. We are going just to see their local customs, traditions, and some of their events. We are going to start by the first events that Pygmies people use. The first one, we are going to see their way of doing mooning. So the first one is mooning. And the death of a member of Pygmy community before old age is considered unnatural. If it strikes a village more or less twice a year, the village is considered cursed and is emptied of its inhabitants to go and settle in another place. This is one of the causes of the nomadism of the Pygmy people. The burial takes place at night and in a place unknown to women and children. Their festivals, they celebrate their International Day every August 9 of each year. Thereafter, we are going to see how these people do their marriage. The marriage among the Pygmy is considered as a link between the families. It is celebrated additionally. The boy is considered ready for marriage just when he is able to build a hut and bring back game. As a dowry, the family of the young husband gives a dog, 2 antelopes, 2 wild boars, and 2 monkeys to the family of the young wife. This is how they proceed for the process of the marriage in the custom of the Pygmies people. About their language, I can say that the indigenous Pygmy communities in general has not been able to keep their language since they were expelled from their natural environments. In the forest of Kauzi-Biega, particularly the case of the South Kivu province during the creation of the Causa Biega National Park in the year of 1970. They mixed with the other communities of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, bordering the forests, and the different languages of the other different communities are primed on the languages, the local language of the Pygmy people, and the Pygmies people were obliged to adopt the language of the different communities of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and this is how their local language disappeared. So to end this presentation, we are going to say that Pygmy people are considered as the first inhabitants of the Central Africa, but currently they are minority and in danger of disappearing if the Congolese government and organizations campaigning for human rights, and particularly those for the preservation of cultural roots, in place policies and means for their survival and protection of their cultural identity. By here, we end our presentation, and we thank you for your patience and for your listening for the organization ICODE NGO in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Oops. Thank you, Jack, and the rest of your team for being persistent and trying to join us online. We really appreciated your presentation and your unique take on the Pygmy people. I would now like to invite another online member from the Sofia University in Bulgaria, Radoslav Iliev, who will be discussing the Valley of the Thracians, Roses and Wine. Radoslav, are you with us online? Yes.
Yes.
Please feel free to share your screen.
Yes, for sure. Thank you very much one more time for the organizers, especially for the Secretary General and of your kind moderation. Just a moment for sharing the screen. Okay. So.
Can you go back to the question, please?
It's to me? You say something to me or not?
No, sorry.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Go.
Radoslav, you can start your presentation.
Okay, I'm just putting my... It's a very big pleasure for me to speak in front of that very special forum, not only because of the thematics, but also because of the fact that I spent a couple of years in Italy, and it's always a pleasure to meet even by online in the terrain of, in that case, of Firenze. So speaking about Bulgaria and the Valley of the Thracian Kings and the Valley of the Roses and the Valley of the wine, of the Thracian wine, we have to make an introduction about where it is, that valley. It's situated exactly in the Balkan Peninsula, so between the Adriatic, Aegean, and the Black Sea, in the Republic of Bulgaria, in the geographical center of Bulgaria, near the city of Kazanlak, where it's situated, that specific cultural spot which combines natural, non-tangible, and for sure cultural and non-movable heritage, including, okay, you see the second slide. Speaking about the Thracians, a very short description about the ancient Thracian tribes. According to Herodotus, the father of the history in the ancient Greek literature, the Thracians are the second biggest people after the Indians into the ancient world, and they occupy the territories even before the classical era, respectively around the modern territories of Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, north of Greece, north of Turkey, Moldova, and western part of Ukraine. In the central and key position of the Thracian cultures plays the ancient singer and music player Orpheus, who is a very special figure not only in the Greek mythology but also in the Thracian beliefs, which puts him in between the Apollonian and Dionysian beginning of the culture. So he is in the same time patron of the arts, of the musics, of the sun, so also of the kings, but also in the same time he is related to the mystic codes and this which is called the Thracian Orphism. So this system of the Thracian religion and to the ancient Thracian beliefs, which are inherited into the Bulgarian ethnographical traditions in the region of the Balkans and also into the archaeological and cultural heritage of the ancient Thracians in the valley. One of the main heritage sites, or one of the most fundamental, let's say, knowledges which you have to know, speaking about the Valley of the Thracian Kings and specifically about the Thracians, is the structure of their architectural heritage, which is part of the UNESCO Heritage List. And this is the classical architectural structure of the Tholos or of the Hieron, which we know from the Macedonian architecture in the north of Greece. Here we have these structures two centuries earlier, again divided in three sections of a huge long corridor, dromos, camera before the main, the chamber before the main burial chamber, and the main chamber, where usually it's been used for burial ceremonies, but before the burial ceremonies it was used for religious ceremonies. So it was used as a temple, then as a mausoleum, and finally as a tomb. One of the most prominent and famous sites into the Valley of the Thracian Kings near Kazanlak is the Kazanlak tomb, which is dated back in the 3rd, 4th century before Christ, so in the late classical, early Hellenistic era. And it's one of the two Thracian tombs, the two Thracian herons, because it's not only a tomb, which has been found with magnificent frescoes, probably made by a Greek or Hellenistic painter. In the valley, we have the archaeologists, also the architects, and in general the cultural heritage specialists has found more than 100 tumulus or mounds. So this is a small hills, artificially made hills in the antiquity, which was model of the world, because for the Thracians, as Orpheus has lived in the mountain and has communicated with the gods, but also with the wild beasts through his music and through his arts, the tumulus, the mounds, where are the hidden these architectural monuments and precious cultural heritage pieces, are model of the world. So they are small mountains on where the Orpheus spirit could be exposed or could be provoked. One of the most recent and prominent also sites found in the Valley of the Thracian Kings is the Gulama-Kusmatka Mound. It's a local name, but the technical name in the science is the Hieron of the King Seltos III. He was the Thracian king during the era of Alexander the Great, who was able to stop the Alexander the Great march into Thrace, for sure, for a couple of decades. And after the death of Seltos III, Thrace was again integrated into the Macedonian Empire. This is part of the very much famous bronze head, in fact, which was restored after 2004 in Italy. And this is the one of the most famous golden treasures found very close to the valley in Panagyuriste, which is part of the collection of the National History Museum, and now it's in an exhibition into the Los Angeles Museum of the Getty Foundation. Also part of the big complex, which combines not only architectural heritage but natural heritage, which was used for cultural purposes in antiquity, is the Sun Gate in the small village called Buzovgrad, again just 10 kilometers, even less from Kazanlak. It's an ancient megalithic complex from the pre-classical era, which was used for religious ceremonies of the Thracian tribes and also of the local culture before the Thracians. One of the key names which you have to mention in I don't know how to say, but into the presentation or giving a big overview of the heritage value of this complex monument, which is the Valley of the Thracian Kings, is the name of the Dr. Gheorghe Kitov, who was named like Bulgarian Indiana Jones because he was principally responsible for the archaeological excavations of 90% of all the Thracian archaeology in the country until 2008, when he passed away. Except the Thracians, this is the geographical center of Bulgaria, where the climate circumstances are absolutely the same as was in the antiquity or as in the Middle Ages were in the ancient Persia, and the ancient Syria, where came from the rose. The Damascus rose, or Rosa Damascena in Latin, was transported into the Balkans during the Ottoman Empire. And in Kazanlak now, it's the biggest producers of rose oil, not only in Bulgaria, but also in Europe. And it's one of the highest, I think it's the highest quality for sure in Europe, but also except the Middle East production of rose oil, also in the world. Near to the valley, we have also examples of another layers of cultural heritage, because it's a multi-layer heritage site, including Christian heritage like the Shipka Church, dedicated to the Russian-Turkish War from 1877-1878, and the Shipka Monument, which is a prominent example of the influence of the German architecture from the late 19th century, or the so-called Bismarck Towers. We have also the biggest ideological monument from the Cold War, called the Buzluja Monument, or the house of the Bulgarian Communist Party, between 44 and 89, which was not restored but studied, and being part of ICTS, of ICOMOS research, how it could be integrated in the cultural heritage tourism plan of the region, funded by Getty Foundation and their program Keep It Modern. Very close to that valley, it's for sure the wineries, which follow the tradition not only of the ancient Thracians and the ancient Balkan traditions, but the modern and the Renaissance Bulgarian traditions of wine producing, and specifically some sort of wines which are accepted as very specific into the European trademark as the Thracian wine label region. And for sure, speaking about except the culture but the natural heritage, one of the key factors about the focus on that specific area is the mineral water and the spa heritage and the possibilities of spa tourism, which are again just in the radius of 10 to 20 kilometers outside of the city of Kazanlak. So we have a small valley of 20 to 30 kilometers, including the ancient Thracian heritage, the Christian heritage, the Rose Valley, the mineral spa, and for sure the Christian and the communist architectural heritage. Very close to Kazanlak, I'm going to conclude because I see that the time I think has, now I have 2 more minutes. It's Plovdiv. Plovdiv is the second biggest city in Bulgaria. It's a regional center of the central Thrace, of the central part of South Bulgaria, and this is the biggest essential Roman theater which has been found in the modern territory of Bulgaria. But the most important thing of Plovdiv is that it combines the ancient Roman and ancient Greek cultural heritage with the Renaissance Bulgarian heritage from 16th to 18th century during the Ottoman Empire, where was flourishing the Bulgarian Renaissance not only as an intellectual movement, but also as an architectural and also afterwards political and revolutionary movement. And finally, Plovdiv was a capital of the European culture in 2019, together with Matera in the south of Italy. And that makes Plovdiv the gate of the cultural heritage, not only of the south of Bulgaria, but especially of the Valley of the King's Roses and the wine, which is, if we can use this metaphor, it's a kaleidoscopus of these mosaics of heritage which you could see in different parts of Bulgaria, but especially in the valley you can see them in a very, very tiny territory, in a very compressed way, but on a very high level of exposure, preservance, and authenticity. Thank you very much for your attention. I will be more than happy if you have any questions on which I could answer. Thank you one more time. I hope that I can.
Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Rado. And now,
but here,
for the reason why we are approaching the evening, we can jump on the other river of the Atlantic Ocean. And the next speaker, I would like to introduce him because he's a long-lasting friend of our foundation since 2008, and we get in touch with him thanks to his commitment in preserving the memory of the autochthon South Dakota population. He's again a great person committed in the social with his foundation. We are really pleased to see Patrick after so long time. And so, dear Pat, are you there? And we all are ready for your presentation in the name of South Dakota Parks and Wildlife Foundation, USA, private funding to protect our great outdoors. Dear Pat, the floor is yours. You are most welcome.
Good afternoon, and I hope we can share the screen so that my slides can appear for you. We can get the screen sharing.
Yes. Yes, it's okay. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. If you can hear me.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. One moment here. Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good afternoon, and I'm here from Rapid City, South Dakota, and if you look on the red circle, that will tell you where South Dakota is. It's in the north central United States. And for comparison, South Dakota, give you an idea of our size, South Dakota is approximately 200,000 square hectares, and Italy is 300,000 square hectares. So we're slightly smaller than the country of Italy, but we have less than 1 million residents in the state. And I'm here today speaking as president of the South Dakota Parks and Wildlife Foundation. We raise funds to help protect special lands in South Dakota. I'm also a landscape architect, but today in particular, I'm going to talk about two parks that we have helped protect. One is Good Earth State Park, which is the eastern part of our state, and Custer State Park. And just prior to that, though, I'll tell you a little bit about my background as a landscape architect. I've had a career spanning about 40 years now and have been involved in many iconic projects throughout our region, including Mount Rushmore. We've worked on Resort, which this one in particular saved about 300,000 or 3,000 acres of conservation area. On the right there is a dignity sculpture of a Lakota girl draped in a quilt, and a high point of my career was the Lakota Nation draped me there on the right, along with the artist, our state governor, and the donor with a quilt, which was one of the highest honors you can receive from the Lakota Nation. And then the lower part there, I'm there next to my friend, actor Kevin Costner, who preserved a site and commissioned a sculpture of 17 bronze sculptures depicting the traditional way of hunting bison by the Lakota Sioux, and then included an interpretive site. But mostly today, though, I'm here to talk about two state parks that our foundation has assisted with. And our foundation, we raise approximately $1,700,000 per year that goes to preservation of landscape and cultural sites in South Dakota, and then they are managed by the state agency. Good Earth State Park is one of these, and I'd like to talk about the site, the river, the people, and the park. And it's in the eastern part of South Dakota, and that's the Big Sioux River that is, it kind of meanders through the land. Our foundation helped buy this property from private owners and turned it over to the public. The site is significant in that it holds one of the most important archaeological cultural sites in the upper Midwest. It was the Iowa population. They were hunters, they were fishers, they were farmers, and their habitation spanned almost 1,000 years at this location because of their abundance of resources. And they were, very traditional peoples. They had a very, very massive trading society throughout this region, and the site itself was to be lost. And our foundation also helped fund the Interpretive Center, which we recreated some of the shelters and some murals depicting the life of the Iowa peoples. And because this story was getting lost, we also helped fund the park, and the park includes interpretive areas, the visitor center. We have living history. So you can see in this slide where we bring in reenactors of Native Americans to tell the important story. And the foundation, in this case, we raised over $6 million, which is almost 6 million euro, which went to acquiring the land, to preserve the land, as well as helping with the interpretive and educational centers in the park. And so we feel great, and we have great donors that support our foundation that allows us to do our work. The second park I'd like to talk about is Custer State Park, and that's in the western half of our state, and it's in the Black Hills. And I'd like to talk about the park and the park's role in preserving the North American bison, which was almost gone extinct. Talk a little bit about the bison and their current status of recovery, and then the education and interpretive center that our foundation funded to help tell the story of the North American bison. And a little bit about the Black Hills. The Black Hills are an ancient formation of the Rocky Mountains. In fact, on the right-hand side here, that's one of the highest points in the Black Hills, and that's the highest point between the Rocky Mountains and the Swiss Alps. It's over 7,000 feet in elevation. The park itself was established in 1912. It's one of the largest state parks in the United States, almost 30,000 hectares, and it's home to abundant wildlife species. The American bison used to roam the northern plains in North America. At one time, there were 40 million bison roaming North America. And the Lewis and Clark expedition in the early 1800s, they tell the story of waiting 3 days for one herd of bison to pass before they could continue their expedition. And they were almost hunted to extinction, down from 40 million to just 300 bison left. And most of those were in Yellowstone National Park. Well, in 1914, 2 years after the park was established, the Bronx Zoo had a program to preserve the bison, and 36 bison were sent to Custer State Park. And they could roam freely, they could reproduce. The landscape was ideal with the short grass prairie. And these bison weigh up to 2,000 pounds. That's about 900 kilograms. And they are large, very powerful animals. And the recovery is one of the greatest conservation successes in history. And here's a photo. These are all bison now in Custer State Park. And annually, the park hosts a buffalo roundup where they will herd about 1,000 of their herd of 1,300. And it's a very popular spectator event. Almost 30,000 spectators stand on the hillside to watch the bison, run across the prairie. It's just a magnificent sight and a real testament to the success of the conservation of this North American icon. Currently, the bison, there's 1,300 in Custer State Park, but from those 300 that were left, there are now approximately 500,000 bison in North America, and it's a great success. They span most parts of North America, and to tell this story, our foundation raised $4.5 million, that's about 4 million euro, and we commissioned and built an interpretive education center, which really highlights the story of the American bison and with the interior exhibits, and it tells the story of how the bison was an integral part of Native American life and how they would use every part of the bison for sustainability. And so that's just a brief overview of two of our state parks that our foundation has assisted with. Our state park system has 65 parks and facilities throughout South Dakota, and our foundation is very pleased to play an integral role in helping preserve these landscapes and these cultural sites that help preserve the history and the story of our past for future generations. And with that, I thank you very much, and thank you to the Life Beyond Tourism and the Del Bianco Foundation. You do wonderful things, and it's really nice to reconnect even virtually here. And I thank you for this opportunity to tell our story.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Thank you for sharing with us what your foundation is doing in South Dakota. Our next group have actually prepared a video for us. They are from Mexico, from the Benemérita Universidad Autónoma of Puebla, from the Faculty of Architecture. So Andres Sanchez and Jose Luis Abad Miranda will be joining us briefly to greet us, just to say hello before starting their video. Andres and Jose, yes?
Sí. Andrés, por favor, adelante.
Yes.
Vamos.
Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. I have something problem with the sound. It's all right.
Yes.
Yes. Bueno, thank you very much for invitation and this presentation for Simon Giometti and the foundation. Thank you very much for the time look at this. Yeah, sorry, es que está fallando. Hay problema. We made with the personal and professional for the conservation of the heritage cultural made this video with many pleasure and many excitement for comparison this and show this material heritage and material with a very important relation and at the Huejotzingo is at the state of Puebla of Mexico. Thank you very much. Wish to pleasure with this video. Thank you very much. Greetings.
Pueden compartir el vídeo ahí desde las computadoras que ustedes tienen ahí, el video, pueden mandarlo, pueden compartir. Estamos tratando de compartir el video. Un momento, por favor. ¿Pueden contarnos algo más en inglés?
Yes. Bueno, this place is very important for the carnival, for the religious customs, and the place where was building after the conquest for Spain cultural, and this church Franciscan and site very interesting because influence of the different cultures that got in.
Sí, ya estamos logrando con lo del video, estamos en eso. Podemos mandar el video, así que este es el video.
Thank you very much.
Estamos en uno de los 14 conventos del volcán inscritos en la lista de Patrimonio Mundial por la UNESCO y que forma parte de uno de los grandes edificios con gran significado además para la evangelización, para el arte, para el proceso de transición de la llegada y de la conquista con la evangelización y la adaptación de la nueva sociedad a una nueva religión. Han pasado 500 años de la llegada de los franciscanos a esta región y trajeron con ellos la fe, la vocación, la admiración y que también permitió que la conquista se diera en la medida de que muchos de los frailes eran tan admirados por los propios conquistadores que los naturales voltearon la vista para ver que eran personas de gran valor y grandes condiciones éticas. Nos encontramos entonces en un edificio franciscano, el ex convento de Huejotzingo y el templo de la orden dedicada a San Francisco con la advocación a San Miguel. Es un templo que reúne, por supuesto, un valor inmaterial muy significativo para la idea de lo que es lo valioso de un país y además plantea la idea de un patrimonio inmaterial relacionado con la presencia de un carnaval de gran significación para la historia, ya que cuenta varias de ellas, y de lo cual tenemos a un personaje llamado Zapador dentro de la historia del carnaval, representado en este momento por un alumno de la Maestría de Conservación de Patrimonio Edificado, el arquitecto Ezequiel Morales de Payo, quien ahora nos representa y es uno de los magníficos exponentes de esta presentación, porque además de ser parte del propio carnaval, está formándose para ser defensor del patrimonio.
Carnaval de Huejotzingo, Puebla. Es una festividad que se celebra en la ciudad de Huejotzingo, Puebla, como parte de las celebraciones que marcan el inicio de la Cuaresma en el calendario ritual católico. Se celebra desde 1868. Este famoso carnaval inicia en el fin de semana anterior al miércoles de ceniza y culmina el martes. En él participan alrededor de 20,000 personas que se disfrazan con máscaras, túnicas, gasneses, tocados de plumas, escudos y fusiles para transformar las calles del pueblo en un enorme escenario y representar en él 3 episodios que han marcado la historia de Huejotzingo. La batalla del 5 de mayo, en el que el ejército mexicano derrotó al ejército francés en la ciudad de Puebla. Otra historia que representa es la del bandido, héroe, leyenda y en algunos sitios hasta santo, Agustín Lorenzo, personaje del siglo XIX que se robó a la hija del corregidor de Huejotzingo. El tercer episodio representa durante el carnaval un matrimonio indígena que simboliza la primera unión que se realizó en este lugar bajo el rito católico.
Además, nos encontramos con el arquitecto, el maestro en arquitectura, José Luis Abad Miranda, quien fue el arquitecto encargado de la restauración del templo después de los efectos tan nocivos del temblor de 2017.
Después de varios años, en el 2023, se inició con el resarcimiento de los daños ocasionados por el sismo del 2017, en el que el Gobierno de México, a través de la Secretaría de Cultura Federal y del Instituto Nacional de Antropología e Historia, iniciaron los trabajos de restauración y gracias a ello el templo se encuentra nuevamente abierto al público y recibiendo a todos los turistas que ahí llegan. El templo guarda un vasto patrimonio de bienes muebles como pintura mural, pintura de caballete, esculturas, su púlpito y el retablo principal, el cual es original y de los pocos del siglo XVI, así como 8 retablos laterales de diferentes estilos. En el coro aún se encuentra el órgano, el cual requiere de un trabajo de restauración. El segundo punto de interés es el claustro, el cual tiene forma cuadrada, con una fuente al centro del patio. El claustro bajo está formado por la portería, ricamente decorada, el corredor, del cual los entrepisos son de viguería, y encontramos áreas como el refectorio, la sala de profundis, esta ricamente decorada, en la cual hay una escena que se encuentra ubicada sobre la puerta, que es una pintura de interés histórico, pues representa a los 12 franciscanos que llegaron a la Nueva España en 1525. Estos están arrodillados ante una cruz y cada uno tiene sus nombres. En la planta alta se encuentran las celdas y áreas de exhibición, pues actualmente el claustro está destinado como museo local de la evangelización del exconvento de Huejotzingo, el cual está a cargo del Instituto Nacional de Antropología e Historia. El tercer punto de interés son las capillas posa, construidas entre los años 1544 a 1555. Se trata de 4 capillas de 5.40 metros de largo por lado, elaboradas de piedra, decoradas con ángeles portando símbolos pasionarios y construidas en las 4 esquinas del atrio. Entre las teorías de su función es la de seguir un camino procesional, haciendo descanso en cada capilla, y posar el Santísimo Sacramento, realizando una enseñanza católica entre los naturales que eran educados en la catequesis.
La tradición llama a este personaje el zapador, uno de los personajes de las múltiples historias que cuenta el carnaval de Huejotzingo y que nos permite ver que es un patrimonio inmaterial muy importante. ¿Y cuál es la asociación con el templo franciscano y los simbolismos? Vemos que una serie de elementos que ornamentan el templo, que es la influencia de los franciscanos, el cordón de la propia orden, que era una gran alegoría para demostrar la importancia del templo. Así vemos también el crismón y vemos los símbolos del cristianismo más antiguos que se tienen y que era el crismón era el nombre de Jesús en griego. Un elemento que llama particularmente la atención en este templo es la presencia de un elemento, una alegoría a la presencia de los turcos, y que se encuentra recordando la base de la barba y el gorro que portaban los turcos u otomanos. Recordemos que conquistaron Constantinopla y fundaron como tal una nueva ciudad que se llama hoy Estambul. Entonces, ese vínculo con lo inmaterial nos permite ver que el carnaval puede tener un origen desde el siglo XVI, impulsado por los propios franciscanos de esos años, y que las historias posteriores que se fueron agregando fueron siendo parte de estas historias y que es realmente un carnaval histórico. Muchas gracias.
Bye.
Thank you to the team from Mexico for their wonderful video. And with that, we are concluding the storytelling session. And I would like to thank you all for joining us on this insightful panel on cultural storytelling. I would also like to thank the Life Beyond Tourism team and the Del Bianco Foundation for having me and for inviting me for a second year to attend this wonderful conference and to meet to see some familiar faces, but also to meet new people for the first time. Thank you for having me. Thank you. So today's presentations have truly showcased the diversity and depth of heritage from across the globe, from Azerbaijan to Odessa to Croatia to the Democratic Republic of Congo to Georgia to the US. We have seen how cultural storytelling can truly transport us to new places and deepen our understanding of what connects us. As we leave today, let's carry with us the idea that each story shared is a bridge across time and space. Each presentation showed us how these narratives invite us to connect, to empathize, and to celebrate both our diversity and our common humanity. Thank you.
And now, let me present an Italian actress and author, in particular for the film Mineur, about the emigration of the Italians from southern Italy to the mines of Belgium. For the final Cool Ways Mineur, cinema as a tool for exploring one's roots and diversity, serving as a cultural foundation for fostering meaningful relationships among communities. Valeria Vaiano, please come on stage. Welcome.
Hi, good evening to everyone. I'm so happy and proud to be here. I want to thank to Carlotta Del Bianco and the whole Del Bianco Foundation and everyone who stay here, spending their time for this great festival so precious for everyone, for the world. I want to talk about my movie, Mineur. It's a French title, I'm sorry. Mineur represents a method of creating cinema involving entire communities and developing the conditions to improve their quality of life through a path of awareness of their cultural heritage. From 2004 to 2008, the director Fulvio Wetzel, an award-winning screenwriter and director, and I worked tirelessly in that small, precious, semi-unknown region of southern Italy, that is Basilicata, producing documentaries, short and medium-length films, especially for school, involving students and their families, and both teaching and non-teaching staff. As an European native, I felt very close, not only geographically, but culturally to the Lucanian people. And so, even though I have been living in Naples for about 20 years, I rediscovered my affinity with the people of that territory. I felt how thoughtful their character was. Their type of sociality was discreet. They were of interacting with the environment was respectful. Consequently, I rediscovered my certain being, European, and therefore Montagnier, different from the Neapolitan influence that had inevitably changed me. After Potenza, the regional capital, we had also started to frequent its province. In particular, we formed a very strong relationship with the inhabitants of a village called Bella, because they were characterized by a passion and culture for cinema. I was struck by the traces of the mining experience in various places in the village. Murals, sculptures, books. Everything led back to the experience of emigration to the mines. Moreover, I noticed how some inhabitants lacked facial expressiveness, or rather a neutral expressiveness that made them seem sad. I was introduced to some of them and I discovered the dilemma. They were all from Lucania, children of miners, raised in the Flemish area of Belgium and therefore had acquired ways and expressions of the Flemish culture and even minimalism in facial expressions and gestures. A whole new world opened up to me. I was curious about why I felt so much sadness in these people, and I asked myself, was it just the result of intercultural communication between nationality, or was it really a discomfort that I felt in these people and that disturbed me? I asked some people if I could meet their ex-miner parents who had returned from Belgium after years spent abroad working in the mines. In the meantime, my intuition and experience told me that there were two communities in the same village, one inside the other, and that they overlapped in culture, knowledge, language, but not in experience, path, and painful experiences. This represented an incurable gap between the two. The meeting with an elderly ex-miner was unforgettable and revealing. Few words, much silence, and much modesty to my question, what was it like working in Belgium? A subdued, resolved man repeated, they treated us well, they treated us well. While the youngest daughter placed on the dining room table a pewter model of the cart used in the mine to transport coal on the rails. It was a gift from the mining company at the time of retirement. After that, a general silence enveloped everything and everyone. The vastness of an unconfessed pain sensed by the other family members made it indescribable to the stranger who, after a few hours, I would no longer be. I understood the meaning of silence. Time had lost its importance. With the whole family, we remained silent. The weight of that, at 20 years of age, had found himself transported from the sun of the fields to the darkness of the subsoil at more than 1,000 meters of depth. Unaware of it, since no one had explained to him, they had only mentioned to him that the work was there and well paid, but the conditions in which it would be carried out had been well concealed. Michele cried for the first time in front of his family like a child, in the bewilderment mixed with joy of his family. Because Michele had finally managed to verbalize the pain and humiliation with which he had lived his working experience 50 years earlier, forced to do so by necessity. And that was how I grasped that there was an urgency to tell the story of miners like Michele and of their families, a large community, and of immigrants who returned to Italy, in this case to Bella, from the moment of their departure to their integration into the whole society and their return to the village. Mineurs put in contact with each other all the people who had lived this experience, raising awareness and facilitating unification and fraternization, recognizing not only their common experience, but also the consequence in their lives. The collective narration of the migratory experience was accompanied by tension and general tension. The collection of anecdotes from the 60s, from childhood spent in Basilicata, subsequent departures with the related preparation, was an important moment of analysis, accompanied by enthusiasm, with continuous exchanges of information that generated a climate of trust and fueled the spirit of research, allowing a more objective understanding of the experience. Many of the Lucanians who returned to Italy after retirement had broken off relations with the part of the same families who had decided to stay in Belgium. Our project, Mineur, created the opportunity for these relations to be re-established, representing a bridge between the two realities since the creation of an independent film that documented their history, and that of their ancestors was too important and objective not to put aside the bitterness and misunderstandings that time had cemented. So, all the Lucanians of Limburg, urged by their relatives in Basilicata, used their free time and energy and context to make the film. The European treaties, the ECSC and the EEC for the 1950s, had been widely the foundation for the creation of the European Union. But the true European community was created in the workplace, where for the first time men from all over Europe came into contact, down in the mines. Dutch, Germans, French, Belgians, Italians were able to communicate and support each other. And so their families, eager for social revenge, tried to find the right compromise between local habits and customs and their own culture. And this model was successful. Italian immigrants exported Italian style in clothing and crafts. Italian cuisine was a great element of appreciation and approach to our entire culture, which led to an openness to the novelties that Italians were bearers of. Our compatriots learned with enthusiasm and shared what was proposed to them, respectful of the welcome of their peers, while in other areas their expectations were betrayed. The intercultural adjustment struggles with the support from trade unions were fundamental to balancing the expectation with the realities. The diffusion of economic wealth and cultural growth of the two communities, Italian and Belgian, are witnessed by the personalities in the world of politics and business, such as Elio Di Rupo, Belgian Prime Minister, and in the world of art as the musician Salvatore Adamo, who sold 30 million records in 1969, winning a Gold Record Award, author of the soundtrack of Mineur, and they are both sons of miners. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, we arrive at the conclusion of this worldwide journey all around the world, from Africa to Eurasia, North and South America. We are going to conclude, but before starting with our honorary president conclusion, let me share with you two short videos by two other partners that couldn't join our festival, but in spite of that would like to share their greetings and with the commitment by themselves to continuing keep in touch and why not participate in the next edition of our festival. The first video is a video greeting message by the director of the National Library of Moldova, Elena Pintilei, with whom we have a special connection because in the name of the great patron of Italian art, we launched a message of Italian spirit, and we donate as a foundation a marble bust depicting Michelangelo one of the iconic personalities of our culture, as a token of appreciation and for the potential collaboration and for their efforts in keeping alive the contact and the importance of the Italian culture. So the second message is coming from a delegation from the Parliament of the Republic of Somalia, from the head of the Cultural Committee of that Parliament, Honorable Maulid Abdi Mohammed. And we are really glad that they approached the festival in short time, but in spite of that, they tried to do all the best for participating the festival and for considering the possibility to pursue a steady collaboration in future. So, dear Cesare, again, let me, before to clap the hand to Cesare and all his staff, because they have really been magnificent, because believe me, when you stay on the back, you can really perceive how much is difficult, but at the same time praiseworthy to keep contact with all over the world that are asking to enter in the Zoom. And so this is a message of enthusiasm in sharing the culture. And we concluded this process of sharing and enjoying the cultural diversity with these two videos. So Cesare, first the video of the National Library of Moldova. Thank you.
Esteemed participants of the World of Florence International Festival, it is a true honor to welcome you. We are blessed to highlight the strong partnership we share here in the Republic of Moldova, particularly through the National Library of the Republic of Moldova. For many years, we have enjoyed a productive and consistent collaboration with Dr. Roberta Albertanza. Her generosity and dedication, along with the support of the Italian Embassy in the Republic of Moldova, have led to numerous cultural initiatives and book donations. A notable example of this collaboration is the recent event, October 2024, a donation of the facsimile edition of the Codice Vava manuscript from the prestigious Casa Library in Rome. We are deeply grateful for Dr. Albertanza's involvement in this remarkable contribution. A white marble bust of Michelangelo Buonarroti, created by sculptor Dino De Ranieri from Pietrasanta, was also a generous gift from Italy in 2020. This gift marked the beginning of the collaboration between the Ramurdo del Bianco Life Beyond Tourism Foundation and the National Library of Republic of Moldova. Every October, we have the privilege of hosting the Italian Language Week at the library, where we celebrate and promote the Italian language and culture. We are delighted to continue our collaboration with Dr. Albertanza and all our esteemed partners. We wish you all the best and a wonderful time at the festival.
Greetings everyone. It's my honor to be invited to the 4th International Festivals of the Diversity of Cultural Expressions, Communities and Heritage. I am truly sorry that I could not be with you in person. Somalia is a nation rich in diversity and culture expressions with a broad history of vibrant communities and deep-rooted heritage. Somali's culture is marked by a unique blend of traditions, language, and artistic expressions, which reflect the strength and resilience of these people. Through Somali music, dance, poetry, and art, Somalis celebrate a culture that is as diverse as it is unified. This heritage is not only preserved in urban centers, but thrives in rural communities where centuries-old practices still echo across generations. Festivals like this remain as of the importance of safeguarding and promoting such diverse culture expressions, ensuring they remain a source of pride and identity for future generations regardless. Thank you.
Okay, I promise I will be short, very short. I would like also to thank Mahad Ahmed Haji, the Secretary General of the Horn and East African Parliamentary Institute, for introducing this, the delegation of Somali Republic. And why not? We will work for welcoming them in the next 2025 edition. So, we have really now concluded our journey, daily journey, touching several countries and parts of the world. And I now would like to invite for the conclusion our honorary president, Dr. Monir Bushnaki. The floor is yours, dear friend.
Abbiamo nutrito la conclusione.
Bene, allora.
Ok. So we are more on stage. Yes. So we are together with our honorary president, with the representative of our scientific committee, and a very good representative of not only our moderators, but our friend and strong collaborator, Mark Lennon. So to conclude, the festival, first of all, we would like to address some recognition to our participants, and I would like to start inviting our collaborators, Maria Grazia Dainelli, Alberto Desirò, and Sara Schiaffonati from B&B to give the award to our the winner of the contest, the photo contest of Sguardi Connessi, Connected Views. So please, if you can come on stage, we will deliver the certificate together. Leggo io? Ok. Allora, so thank you for, ecco, venite sul palco and chiamiamo la vincitrice, no, montate tutti sul palco qui sotto la luce. As we said at the opening, the contest, the photo contest has been a new activity that we introduced this edition. And we are really happy because we received many candidates. And no, sono troppo nel mezzo. Ecco, metto qua. Many candidates and beautiful pictures that enriched our exhibition. So I would like to call on stage for this award Natalia Mariach for her work in the Connected View exhibition. Vieni Natalia, un big applause. This award is even more special because, vieni Natalia. Prima di tutto, complimenti, but now ci sono tante mani da stringere. This award is given for the first time during this festival, and it is dedicated to the memory of our great friend, friend of the arts, friend of Florence, and friend of our Tuscany, Fabrizio Borghini. So a big applause to our Natalia for her award. Facciamo una foto. Arriviamo, sì. Chi fa la foto? Caterina, più nel middle, più nel middle. Vieni qui in centro.
Bravo.
Okay. Brava. And we thank the sensitivity of our sustainable partner B&B Hotels, because the prize is a stay in 2 night stays in Italy, in one of the hotel in Italy. So thanks to their hospitality. Quindi è un soggiorno in Italia presso una delle strutture della compagnia alberghiera B&B Hotels, il nostro partner. Quindi per noi è un momento importante, perché in questo festival inauguriamo anche un percorso dedicato alla fotografia, percorso che sappiamo essere stato tanto caro al nostro amico Fabrizio Borghini, ed è per questo che abbiamo deciso di dedicare il premio a lui, alla sua memoria. Quindi ne siamo veramente felici. Bene, ok, questo momento di emozione. We call on stage the 3 selected cultural storytelling. We had a real marathon in these 2 afternoons, and that was a real marathon that made us enter into the profound soul of our partners' destinations. So I would like to call on stage for the most interesting itinerary, the Faculty of Music and Visual Arts, University of Pech. Reka. Dear Reka.
Thank you.
So move on.
Thank you.
Share the satisfaction with all our. So lots of hands to shake. We are very happy. Congrats between winners. Then I would like to call on stage for the most voted itinerary from the exhibition, and our QR codes inside through the Loghi Parlanti itinerary, the International Educational Corporation of Kazakhstan. Where are you? Oh, we lost them. They were here just a few moments ago. So we will go and search for them. And then for the category, the best itinerary TWIF 2024, I would like to call on stage our friends from National Taipei University, Taiwan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please. You have to work more now. Ok, so facciamo una foto. We take a picture in the middle. See? Closer. Okay. Ok? Bene. Thank you. Please. Allora. Sì, posso leggere io e poi fate voi due parole? Faccio il... Ok. Bene. Sì, grazie. Restano loro accanto a me. Ma certo, noi si comincia, ma poi si continua. Okay, oh, I have two big angels next to me, so I'm going to deliver. Wow. So I feel very safe and supported. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we prepared shared conclusive remarks for this festival, this edition of the festival. I remark, this is the 35th anniversary of the Romualdo Del Bianco Foundation, and it is the 55th international event this year. As we conclude the World in Florence, we reflect on the powerful themes that emerged, underscoring our shared commitment to heritage that is living, inclusive, and responsive to today's challenges. Living heritage and community empowerment. The festival celebrated heritage as a dynamic force, empowering communities to create, reinterpret, or preserve their traditions in ways that are meaningful to them. In a world that is constantly evolving, communities play an active role in shaping heritage, serving as both stewards and innovators, enriching the legacy for future generations. We championed a democratic and decolonized approach to heritage, ensuring that the voices of individuals and communities are integral to the decision-making process. Social transformation and resilience. Our discussions highlighted the significant influence of younger generation who are reshaping values, lifestyles, and tools in unprecedented ways. This accelerated social transformation calls for resilience and adaptability, both individually and collectively. Through open dialogue and constructive facilitation, we continue to enhance cultural understanding and foster communities that can thrive amidst change. Diversity and inclusivity. Cultural and natural diversity was central to our conversations, acknowledging the invaluable range of traditions, beliefs, and ecosystems that define our world. We emphasized the need for accessible and inclusive heritage practices, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to engage with, protect, and celebrate these shared treasures. Environmental awareness and sustainable growth. In a world that finite resources, we embraced the philosophy, less is more. This commitment to sustainability prioritizes the conservation of biodiversity, the essential commitment to the essential relationship between water and culture, and the need for balanced ecosystems. These elements are critical to preserving our environment and cultural heritage for generations to come. Responsible travel and intercultural dialogue. Travel was celebrated as an opportunity for dialogue, learning, and mutual understanding. By viewing travel as an educational journey, we can foster a greater appreciation for cultural diversity while promoting ethical and responsible engagement for both travelers and host communities. Economic value and empathy. Our discussions questioned the dominance of economic interest as the primary driver of society. We acknowledged the need to integrate empathy, cultural sensitivity, and ethical engagement into economic decision-making to build a more compassionate and balanced world. The Foundation's role in a global network. As a foundation that brings together voices from around the world, we reaffirm our commitment to fostering cultural exchange and representation on a global scale. This festival has strengthened our network, empowering young professionals and active players in heritage preservation and embracing UNESCO's guiding principles as practicable tools for positive change. The world in Florence has shown us that heritage is not static. It is alive and continuously reshaped by the communities it serves. Our collective efforts inspire a future where heritage connects generations, transcends boundaries, and brings us closer to a sustainable and inclusive world. Thank you. Thank you.
It was a long journey. I have the impression that I passed many days listening to very, very interesting presentations, listening at experts, representative of communities, traveling from east to west, from north to south. It is the secret of the Del Bianco Foundation. We should pay tribute to President Emeritus Paolo Del Bianco, of course, to our dear President Carlota Del Bianco. We should not forget Corina and his baby here. Our dear professor of anthropology, and of course, my colleague and friend, Mark Lennon. All of us, we were meeting during lunchtime, and we prepared together this very simple synthesis of something that we cannot resume in one page. I want to say that we learned a lot. We are leaving Florence with a lot of ideas, a lot of dreams that we should continue to have the passion and the love for what is the best part of humanity, its cultural, its natural heritage, the cultural and tangible and intangible. And I want just to say how much this foundation has given to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Posso?
A photo.
Un photo.